A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
In just a moment, X-1. But first, how does one man get himself into so many impossible situations? This is a question you'll probably ask yourself tomorrow night when you follow another hilarious adventure of Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. Yes, Gildy's eye for the ladies and his impulsive temperament managed to entangle him in a web of riotous circumstances. Join the romantic water commissioner, his neighbors, Judge Hooker, Mr. Peavy, and all the loyal Gildersleeve household as they romp through another episode of The Great Gildersleeve tomorrow night. And now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight's story, The Cave of Night, by James E. Gunn.
Oh, you want a level, Charlie? Okay. Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brothers, death the memory be... Anyway, how's it, okay? Okay. Check recording. I may go over a half hour. Make sure they've got another reel of tape ready, okay? All right, Look, Bill, I've just put the segments of tape together for the next week's show. I'm going to record my narrations, and we'll listen to it together tomorrow. I know this is unusual, but you're the producer, and I don't want you out on a limb that may be sawed off behind us. This week's show is liable to either win us every award from the Peabody to the Pulitzer Prize, or maybe put the network out of business. Okay, we start with the standard opening. Behind the world, etc., 40 seconds. This is Harry Anders, your editor. At 8 o'clock, after the sun has set and the sky is darkening, look up. There's a man up there where no man has ever been. He is lost in the cave of night.
And the fuel tank's empty. Receiver broken. Transmitting and clear. Anyone picking this up, anyone. This is Rev McMillan calling. Notify Goddard Rock, New Mexico. No way to get back.
There's a man up there where no man has ever been. He is lost in the cave of night. We all know that phrase now, the cave of night. It was written by a poet disguised in the cynical hide of a newspaper rewrite man. But it stuck. It caught the world and held it like a butterfly pinned to a board. It started with a ham, an amateur radio operator, in Davenport, Iowa. All right, Eddie. Roll the first tape in here. It's marked.
Am I too close? I was up in the attic. I usually have a talk with WG73. He's in Buenos Aires. We play chess. Well, there was some kind of interference. And then all of a sudden I heard this voice. I record most of my listening anyway, so I had the tape machine running. After I heard it, I called civil defense. That's what we're supposed to.
Look, Bill, I haven't done the final editing on these tapes, so don't worry if they're a little rough. Down out of the night, flung from the darkness, came these words, the first of so many that electrified the world.
Notify Goddard Rock, New Mexico. No way to get back. No way to get back. I'm stuck up here. No way to get down.
What does it take to catch the pity of the world? A man wedged underground in Kentucky. A little girl in the bottom of a well. Somebody alive, waiting for rescue, with the days of his life numbered. Somebody somewhere waiting for us to get him out. The story broke in this morning's papers. Orbiting 1,000 miles above our heads was a man, an officer of the United States Air Force in a fuelless spaceship. We're recording at the desk of Mike Bayless, senior night editor of the Continental Press National Wire.
Hey, you always get a reaction like this. I remember the Floyd Collins story in the 20s. Fellow trapped in that cave in Kentucky, remember?
Oh, sure.
And the whole country hanging on to see if he could get out. Then there was that little girl stuck in the well. Kathy Fiskus?
Yeah.
We pulled all those stories out and put them on the wire for background. But this hit bigger. We got the first lead from an Air Force handout in New Mexico. They just said an experimental rocket failed to return to base. But by that time, the cat was out of the bag. Ham operators picked up those messages from Boston to Fairbanks, Alaska.
Mr. Bayless, you first used the phrase, the cave of night, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you got to get a little purple on a thing like this. People eat it up. You can't spread it on too thick. Anyway, I was lost in a cave once when I was a kid in upstate New York. I waited around for a couple of hours in the dark until they came for me. It kind of reminded me of that.
It reminded the world of terrors at night, of struggling awake through nightmares. The fears of loneliness, darkness, falling, suffocation, thirst. It reminded me of Rev McMillan. And perhaps I have an advantage over all the other reporters for newspapers and radio and television because I knew Rev McMillan. I knew him in college and in the Air Force. I knew that he was testing rocket-powered craft at Goddard, but I didn't know they were so close to space. No one knew, till those messages of desperation crackled down through the atmosphere. I remembered Rev when I saw those headlines that morning. Straight black hair, Clark Gable ears, a reckless grin. He ate well, reveled in expert jazz and Mozart opera, and he talked incessantly. His southern speech was no drawl. There was too much to say. And now he was alone. And soon all that might be extinguished. The men from the radio newsrooms rushed to Goddard Rocket Base armed with miniature tape recorders.
Gentlemen, I'm Colonel Arthur J. Hannigan, Information Officer for Goddard Rocket Base. And I'm authorized to issue the following statement. First Lieutenant Reverty L. McMillan, United States Air Force pilot, Experimental Rocket Division, took off from Goddard Base at 22:34 Rocky Mountain time. His craft, the XR-37 Mark II, a hydrazine nitric three-stage rocket. I'm sorry I can't describe it, boys. Classified. Well, in order to maintain orbit, the motors were pulsed for 1 second every 15 seconds elapsed time. After 3 minutes, the exhaust was seen by ground spectroscope observation to flare for half a minute. His fuel supply is exhausted. The craft has reached sustaining orbital speed.
Well, what does that mean, Colonel?
He's out of gas. He can't get down.
The first mobilization was of the scientific brains massed at Goddard. Few of them knew Rev. Brains at a research project are usually carefully sorted out and salted away from the distractions of the outside world. They designed, they invented, they calibrated and theorized. But they didn't know the short, stocky man with a lopsided grin who rode the fruit of their labor up and out, and now circled the world of his birth, with time ticking out. I covered the hearings in Washington for the network newsroom. I flew down from New York, and the stewardess came out every few minutes to tell the passengers the latest news. She called him Rev, although she never knew him, and once I thought I saw a tear. The hearing was before the subcommittee of the Senate Committee on Military Affairs. Presiding, Senator Allen J. Haggister of Kentucky.
All right, General Fitch.
You've made the technical situation fairly comprehensive, even to an old cane-brake, redneck hillbilly like myself.
I have tried to make the gravity of the situation apparent, sir.
It appears to me, General, that the sacred life of a human being created in the image of his maker is in danger. It's no light thing to be thrown away like some guinea pig. If that ship wasn't safe, if that poor man up there in the cave of night is to die, somebody is responsible. Isn't that right, General?
Sir, a manned rocket was sent up because of one simple fact. It takes a computer of tremendous versatility and capacity to operate a Harrison-Munch reactor engine. A computer of infinite complexity.
And I ask you, General, I put a question to you. Why was such a computer not designed?
It has been designed, sir. It was designed 500,000 years ago. There is only one mechanism competent to handle those controls, sir. That is the human brain.
All right. I turn now to my second question, General, and I ask it not only for myself and my colleagues on this committee, but for 170 million Americans listening on the radio, watching on television. With that man up there living out his last days, why was it not possible to send a ship up after him? Why was there no second ship built?
For one reason, Senator, money. The appropriation for rocket research fell short by 12% of the amount needed even to build one vessel. Oh, frankly, gentlemen, the deficiency was made up by cutting corners and diverting funds from other projects.
That is not the point, General. There's a man up there who's going to die.
With the limited funds you gave us, we've done what we set out to do. We've demonstrated that space flight is possible, that a space platform is feasible. If there is any inefficiency, if there is any blame for what has happened, it lies at the door of those who lack the confidence and the courage and ability of their countrymen to fight free of Earth to their greatest glory. Senator, how did you vote on that?
This is Harry Anders in the gallery of the Washington National Cathedral. This is a special prayer service called by the Dean of the Cathedral for the safety of Lieutenant McMillan and for the success of the recently announced rescue plan. The church is filled. There's a sprinkling of high Navy, Army, and Air Force uniforms. I see General Finch in the second row, next to the Secretary of the Air Force and the newly appointed Under-Secretary of Defense, Mr. Winokur. Prominently displayed in the center aisle, below the ornate railing separating the pews from the altar, is the small model of Macmillan's ship. One by one now, the congregation is filing past, dropping checks, bills. I saw one child drop in 12 pennies one by one. All contributions are to be used to defray the cost of the rescue effort. The congregation is now kneeling to pray. A moment of silent prayer will follow for the safety and rescue of Lieutenant McMillan.
$1 billion was raised in 1 week from voluntary contributions. Another $1.5 billion was appropriated unanimously by Congress. The race began. Would the rescue party reach the ship in time? Of course, we didn't know then. And daily we listened to the voice of the man we hoped to buy back from death. Now, look, Bill, on these McMillan broadcast tapes, don't let some ignorant engineering vice president holler because it's not broadcast quality. Believe me, I knew McMillan. There's more of that wild Texan in these tapes than in any hi-fi super-frequency response studio recordings. Just listen. You'll see what I mean.
I've been staring out the portholes. I never tire of it. Through the window at the right, I see a black velvet curtain with a strong light behind it. There are pinpoint holes in the curtain, and the light shines through, not winking the way stars do, but steady. There's no air up here. That's the reason. My oxygen is holding out better than I expected. By my figures, it should last 27 days more. I shouldn't use so much of it talking all the time, but it's hard to stop. Talking speaking, I feel as if I was still in touch with the Earth. Still one of you. Even though I am way up here. Too bad the receiver is broken, but if it had to be one or the other, I'm glad it was the transmitter that came through all right. There's only one of me. There are billions of you to talk to. You can't see me now. You'll have to wait hours for the dawn. I'll have mine in a few minutes.
That's the way he talked. And as we listened to the lonely voice from the night, the engineers, the scientists, the construction men worked round the clock. General Finch presented the problem in the pool interview. I asked the questions for the combined networks that afternoon. Most of you heard the complete broadcast live as he briefed the world with the clipped, laconic delivery of a soldier.
There are two basic problems. We've recovered the first and second stages of the rocket. We've only to construct the third stage. The second problem is more difficult. The pilot. Lieutenant McMillan was the only man physically and psychologically qualified. We discovered that in our first program. His training and orientation took 18 months. We have now to duplicate this in 27 days.
You think it's possible, General?
I don't know. That's all, Mr. Anders. Stevenson, get me some coffee, will you? Black and some kind of sandwich, no butter, no mayonnaise.
And then the voice from the cave asked a question and expected no answer.
Do you hear me down there? Sometimes I wonder. I wish there was some way I could be sure you were hearing me. Just that one thing might keep me from going crazy.
I was there the night we answered that question. I was there in a helicopter over Kansas City.
This is Harry Anders speaking to you from a helicopter over Kansas City. There are 15 seconds till midnight. The plan was developed by General Finch. At precisely midnight, every light in the city will be out and then flashed on in 2-second intervals. This will be the exact moment that McMillan's ship is calculated to pass overhead. It's almost time now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There they go. Off. On. Off. On. Off. On.
I see it. I see it. Kansas City winking at me. Oh, yes, I can see it. Thanks. Thanks. You're listening. I know that now. I'm not alone. I'll never forget. I'm waiting for you.
We're recording in the press gallery of the Goddard Rocket Base main construction hangar. The vast third stage component stands before us, men swarming up and down the gantry cranes. The Mark III is being built to carry 5 men instead of 1. The pilot selection has been kept a top secret to avoid unnecessary strain on the men selected. The latest progress report gives a possible margin of 6 hours between the launching of the rescue ship and the estimated exhaustion supply of oxygen to Lieutenant McMillan. The shift is changing now. The expert construction workers recruited from across the country by the combined efforts of the Air Force Personnel Service, the Atomic Energy Commission, and the International United Electrical Workers and United Auto Workers of the AFL-CIO. The margin is 6 hours. 6 hours between life and death for Lieutenant Reverdy L. McMillan.
An hour ago, I saw the sun rise over Russia. Looks like any other land from here. The green where it should be green. Farther north, a sort of mud color. And then white where the snow is still deep. Up here, you wonder why we're so different when the land is the same. You think we're all the same children of the same mother planet. Who says we're different?
Can you hear me in the back?
Yes, a little close.
Well, how about this?
That's better. That's better.
All right, gentlemen, I have exactly 5 minutes for the press conference. Therefore, I'm not going to answer any questions. Progress report is as follows. As a safety factor, we're constructing 2 complete 3-stage rockets and 6 additional third-stage components. The telemetered reports from McMillan's ship have added important additional information, and the first of the rescue vessels should be ready to be launched at the estimated time, weather permitting. Now, don't ask a question. Within certain limitations of air turbulence, the rocket will be ready to lift in time to save Lieutenant McMillan.
21 days. The air is bad tonight. I can't seem to get a full breath. It seems to stick in the lungs. Doesn't matter, though. But I wish you could see what I've seen. The vast, spreading universe around Earth like a bride in the soft veil. You'd know then that we belong out here. Come out, mankind. Come out and see what I have seen.
This is Harry Anders at Goddard Rocket Base. The Harrison Munch reactor engine for the first third-stage rescue is being tested here at Goddard. You can hear the roaring of the gases in the test chamber behind me. The work has been stepped up as a new calculation based on the increased temperature reading from McMillan's ship indicates that the exhaustion time will be some 6 hours earlier than originally estimated. The margin of rescue will be in minutes.
Air very bad. Better hurry. Can't last much longer. It's silly, of course you'll hurry. But I don't want anyone feeling sorry for me. I've seen the stars clearly. But more than this, I've seen the Earth. There where I have lived and loved. I have known it better than any man. And loved it better. And known its children better. Goodbye. I have a better tomb than the greatest conqueror Earth ever bore. Do not disturb.
Countdown for blast off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Anders, tape 323. We're in the press operation room of Goddard Field. The rescue rocket has been aloft 53 minutes plus. Its calculated time of arrival is 54 minutes. You will hear the voice of General Beauregard Finch on a direct pickup from the rescue vessel, which has been named unofficially the Lifesaver. Silent crowds have collected at the outer perimeter of the rocket base, as if by their presence they might help it.
Come, quiet.
The next voice you hear will be General Finch aloft in the rescue ship. The voice quality may not be good. He's speaking over a throat mic in his pressure suit.
Mark 3 to base. This is Finch. Secure, thank you. We have just secured to the airlock of McMillan's ship. I'm now entering the lock. The inner door is closed. I have closed the outer door. The inner door is cycling. Now it is open. Bring in those oxy bottles, will you? The bulkhead to the control room is open.
Is he all right? Come on, what's happening?
Lieutenant McMillan is dead. He died heroically, waiting till all hope was gone. Until every oxygen gauge stood at zero. And then, well, the airlock was open when we arrived. In accordance with his own wish, his body will be left here in its eternal orbit. I'm going to leave now. My feet will be the last to touch this deck. Lieutenant McMillan is in his control chair, staring out towards the stars. I'll leave the airlock doors open behind me. Let the airless, frigid arms of space protect and preserve for all eternity this man they would not let go.
Well, that's the show, Bill. Bill, you remember at the conference we
We hadn't made up our mind whether to pick anything up from the celebration last night after the news of the Mars landing. I said it was the right end for Rev McMillan's story. You said it was old stuff. Every kid knew the sequence. The ships built to rescue Rev, used to set up the satellite base, from the base to the moon and now to Mars. Well, I went out with a mini-tape last night, and I've got the end of the story. Here it is. This is Harry Anders in Times Square. The neon rocket ship at the top of the Times building has just flashed into brilliant light. The signal that the landing signal has been received from the rocket Rev McMillan III. Man has landed on Mars. And a holiday crowd here in Times Square is celebrating like 1,000 New Years rolled into one. I'm being tossed and pushed and clapped on the back all at once. Let's see what the man on the street thinks about man on Mars. You, sir. I'm broadcasting. No, how do you feel about it, sir? How do you feel tonight about man's conquest of space, of the planet?
Leave me alone. I'm in a hurry.
Just a few words of...
Look, you get your hands off me. Let go of me. I'm not in...
Wait a minute, sir. Wait. Rev, come back here. Rev. You think I could listen to that voice over and over in a tape editing room and not know every vowel, every consonant? I'm telling you, Bill, I saw him. Rev McMillan. The black hair was gray and those Clark Gable ears were pinned back, but that's a simple operation. I played that piece of tape over and over. It was Rev, I know it. He isn't up there. He's alive. We've got it, Bill. We've got it on our show. We'll break it. Rev McMillan is alive. I haven't written it yet, but we finish it off with this, with a question. Why did they announce he was dead? I'm in the tape editing room now. I've got the reel ready to record the answer.
Excuse me, Mr. Anders.
Hey, just a minute. I'm recording. You better see the page outside
Mr.
of the...
Anders, I'd like to talk to you for a moment, if I may. I have a letter of authorization.
Just a minute. I'll be through in a minute. Look, Bill, I've got the answer now. Last night, they landed on Mars. But that first ship, the one that circles up there now, there isn't anybody on it. There never was, except a 30 days recording and a transmitter. That's all. He was never up there. They didn't have the money for a manned rocket. They wanted a crash program all out, so they sent a decoy up. And we all broke our hearts to rescue the man who wasn't there. Oh, he must be laughing, General Finch and the rest of them, the ones that knew. I guess they had a problem. What to do with Rev? I wonder if he slipped away from whatever guards they have around him to see the celebration. He looked a little sad. I think sometimes he must wish he was really up there in the cave of night, seated in the icy control room, 1,075 miles above the Earth, staring out at the stars.
Mr. Anders, I must insist...
What? Bill. Looks as if I won't have to worry about editing this tape. My friends are from Washington.
I'd like to call your attention to the last paragraph.
What? Oh, no. It's very simple. You won't have to burn it. It's easy to destroy recording tape. I throw this switch. When the tape goes through the erasing head, it's gone forever. Oh, too bad. Would have made one fine show. Okay. So long, Rev.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features an exciting serial, Slave Ship, by Frederick...
In just a few hours, the Gregory party will attempt to escape from the Magic Island. When the Gregory yacht, with Mrs. Gregory, Captain Tex Bradford, and Jerry Hall aboard, was captured and drawn to the strange island of Euclidia by magnetic force, a little homing pigeon was released to carry word of their trouble to another boat with Johnson on board. Johnson, in turn, released a pigeon which arrived safely at the Gregory yacht. And with the aid of these clever little birds, the prisoners have arrived at what seems to be a chance to escape. The Euclidean scientists are asleep in the chemical laboratory, victims of a formula Captain Bradford gave them. Jerry and Joan are in the radio cabin on the yacht, planning a desperate move to help Mrs. Gregory and the captain.
It's a slick plan, Joan, if we can only get away from this yacht to try it out.
I think if you leave that to me, Jerry, I will be able to give Mother and the captain a plausible excuse for our sudden desire to return to the island.
Well, if you can, with these 2 ray guns you swiped from the commander, we've got a chance to put it over. But I guess we'll have to get the plan all worked out before we leave here. There won't be any place we can talk without being heard once we get down inside that blamed island.
Oh, yes, Jerry. We may go to the sound channel for one.
Yeah, that's right.
And there are many small rooms throughout the island where we may talk in privacy if the Euclideans are not using them.
Yeah, if.
There will be many of the chemists' private quarters vacant. Remember that every chemist on the island is asleep in the laboratory.
Yeah, but it isn't the chemists we're worrying about. It's the electrical engineers and the radio operators and the submarine guards. We've got to get past all of them some way and get our hands on the switches or whatever cuts off the current supply on this island. We've got to get everything shut off so there's no chance of the Euclideans doing anything to stop us when we sail out of here right after dark.
It can be done, Jerry. It will be dangerous and exciting, but it can be done.
Okay, kid. I'm with you if you say so. But now we've got to think up an excuse to get off this yacht and onto the island.
I think, Jerry, the best way is for us to tell Mother and the Captain what we intend trying to do.
They'll never let us do it.
I think they will. Captain Bradford will realize that our only hope is to render the island as nearly powerless as possible, and he will see instantly that you and I can move about in the island with greater freedom and less suspicion than would be allowed him.
It might work. We'll ask them anyhow. But remember this. If they say no, we'll find a way to go just the same.
Agreed, Jerry. We will, what you say, extract a rapid one.
You mean pull a fast one?
Exactly.
Ah, you're talking, Joan.
Oh, here are Mother and the Captain.
Don't spring it up too soon now.
What's that, Jerry? You and Joan going to spring something on us?
Maybe. After a while.
Joan, dear, you and Jerry both look very guilty about something. You haven't been getting into trouble, have you?
Oh, no, Mother. We merely have a little something to tell you and the Captain after a few minutes.
Well, I guess the mystery will keep. Just now I've got to get a message to Johnson, and I've got to get it to him quick.
You see, Jerry, Tex has run a wire through the holes in the sides of these boats and connected our transmitter to the aerial in the other boat.
Oh, swell, Tex. That ought to help a lot.
Yes, it will, but the batteries are nearly dead. I'm afraid to run the motors anymore for fear someone on the island will suspect something.
I think it is very dangerous, Captain, to try getting a message to Johnson. These Euclideans will surely understand what you are trying to do.
Don't you think, dear, that they were deceived about Johnson? That they believe Johnson came in here aboard his boat, don't they?
They do now, but it would take only a little suggestion to make them realize they had been tricked.
Hey, hold everything. I got an idea.
What is it, kid?
Well, it's pretty sure these Euclidean guys believe that McLeod is Johnson, all right?
Yes, Jerry. They believe that, as they had only heard his voice over the radio.
Then why not get Mac in here now? Let him send a message to Johnson, and that might help the idea along.
I'm afraid of that, Jerry.
Why, Pat?
Because they'd surely recognize the different voice when they heard it over the radio. Just now they believe Mac is Johnson because he's only spoken briefly to G47, pretended to have a sore throat then. But if he were to attempt to send a message... No, I think it'd do more harm than good.
You're right, Pat.
Sorry. Guess my idea wasn't so hot.
Never mind, Jerry. You will get another one someday.
Hey, I get them all the time.
Now, you two stop quarreling and give us a chance to send a message. Perhaps you'd better do it, Tex. You can work the initial code into it without writing it down. I'd have to scribble it out first.
Right. I'll see what I can do. Now, you can check this for me, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Copy what I sent. Then we'll see if I hit the code accurately and all, enough for Johnson to decipher it. I'm afraid if I write it out, it'll sound so cut and dried, anyone would know what I'm trying to do.
I'm ready. Go to it.
May I copy it also, Captain?
Sure, Joan, but you may find it a little fast when you're not used to it.
I will try and keep up with you.
Quiet now. Let Tex get his message over.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry to butt in, and I know that message is important. But I've got to say just one more thing.
All right, Jerry, but time's worth money now.
I know it, but I think you'll see where this is worth the time. Now, wouldn't it be better if you could get that message out without the Euclideans being able to intercept it? I mean, even if they could hear it, wouldn't it be better to know it was at least getting past the edge of the island?
Of course, Jerry, but that's impossible. All we can hope for is to get enough of the message outside the magnetic ring to do some good before they realize its value and stop our beam.
But suppose your beam is being stopped at all times. Then the Euclideans have your message. They may take their time in deciphering it, but long before dark, before you are ready to attempt the escape, they will know your plans and be ready to spoil them.
I know all that, Joan, but we've got to take the chance.
Oh, no, you don't, Tex. Look, if you let Joan and I try something...
That is right, Jerry. I feel this is the time to tell them.
Tell us what? Have you two a plan of real value?
We think it is. But you've got to let us tell you the whole thing before you say no.
Well, get on with it, son. If it sounds possible, we'll let you try it anyhow.
There, Jerry, you see? Now tell them about it.
Well, Joan and I figured we could get around a lot of places on the island easier than you two. Because the Euclideans think Texas got all the sense in this outfit.
Go on, Jerry.
And the first thing we need right now is to be sure of two things. First, that we can get a message to that boat Johnson's on and let him know we're going to make a break for it.
Right so far.
And also, we must make sure that no one on this island will be in position to stop us when we take the boat out after dark tonight.
Well, of course, those things would be nice. It's rather foolish to talk about arranging it so easily.
Yes, I'm afraid you've taken on too big an order, Jerry.
Oh, no, sir, we haven't. Now, listen carefully to this. Joan knows a lot of the rooms in the island where we can talk without being heard on the rest of the island. And if we can make our way from one of these rooms to the other and take over control of each section we pass through, we can finally get the main control rooms and shut off all the electricity on the island. Then they can't make a move. And we can get our radio messages out first, then fix it so the boat can sail, and no one will ever know it till it's too late to stop us.
Why, Jerry, that's madness. You and Joan will most certainly do no such thing.
Not while I know it. Why, you kids wouldn't have a chance.
I think we would have a very good chance, Captain.
Oh, sure, Tex. Let us try it. Please. We can put it over. Please.
No, Tex, I won't permit it.
Neither will I. Why, you kids would just be getting started when one of those Euclideans would turn a ray gun on you. And when you woke up, you'd be prisoners in one of their submarine cells. Our escape would be hopeless, as we certainly wouldn't leave without you.
But what if Jerry and I were using the ray guns ourselves, and were very careful to let no one see us? What then?
Well, of course, you might have a chance then, but where would you get the ray guns?
I have 2 of them.
Joan, you what?
You've got 2 of those things?
Sure she has. And they're the 5-minute kind, the 300-second ray, the Euclideans call them.
But how did you get them, dear? I thought the Euclideans guarded those guns with their lives.
When Jerry and I were in the laboratory and the gas fumes from the captain's formula put all the Euclideans to sleep, Jerry and I fell as if we were also overcome. And I took care to fall near the commander, almost on her, in fact. And when the others were all asleep and Jerry and I stood up to run out, I had both of the commander's ray guns hidden in my dress.
Joan, that's one of the finest things I ever heard of.
Joan, dear, your mother's so proud of you.
Didn't I tell you she was slick? And now what do you think of our chances?
You will surely allow us to go now, will you not?
Well, I don't know. The idea of you kids running around inside that island with a couple of those ray guns doesn't make much of a hit with me.
No, the guns make it even more dangerous. If you two were unarmed, you'd probably be taken without harm and merely confined in a cell. But with those things, you'd take chances and deliberately run into danger. No, I don't like it.
Oh, but gee, Mrs. Gregory, if Joan and I did all right about getting ourselves into that laboratory now and again, and if Joan's clever enough to get those guns, we ought to have a chance to show what we can do.
Yes, Mother. Jerry and I are quite capable of taking care of ourselves, and it should be our privilege to contribute at least a portion of the energy expended toward our ultimate freedom.
She means we ought to get a crack at helping things along.
Please, Captain Bradford, we will be very careful.
Oh, sure, Tex. Joan and I will watch every move, and before we get caught, we'll run right back to you. How's that?
Well, Pat,
You'd let them go if I would, wouldn't you, Tex?
Yes, dear, that's a big chance for them. If you and I fail to get off this island our own way, we've not only let them down, but we refuse them a chance to help themselves and all of us.
You're right, Tex. I'm only being a woman about it. It's a little hard for me to think of Joan taking such chances. For 14 years, I've searched the world over for her. Now, only a few days after I found her, I must let her go again. Go into danger because of me.
Oh, forget it, Mrs. Gregory. I'll take care of Joan. No matter what happens, I'll look out for her. And you and the captain can do a lot more good by being right here on this boat and having everything ready to shove off as soon as it gets dark.
All right, you win, kid. Though it seems funny for Pat and me to sit here and let you kids run these risks. Oh, I know it's a sensible thing to do.
Now, Captain Bradford, if you will give me the message you were going to send in the hope Johnson might hear it, I will copy it. And Jerry and I may get a chance to send it from the Euclidean control chamber.
Yeah, then we'd know it got out all right.
But wouldn't it be heard other places on the island?
Not if we were able to operate the controls ourselves. We could regulate the beam transmission apparatus so that the message could only be picked up by a radio receiver and not by the electric ears around the island.
You certainly know this island, Joan.
I have had 14 years in which to learn of it. Now, may I have the message, Captain?
Right, Joan. I'll give it to you slowly and you can copy it. And we'll see if the code comes out right.
You may speak as rapidly as you wish.
Do you know shorthand, Joan?
I do not understand what you mean. I merely make small marks for big words.
That's shorthand, all right. Come on, let's get going.
Right. Here it is. Call any station. Sign the Gregory yacht. Here is the message. Every indication, going have trouble. Possibly may feel, unwise even, leave free in this yacht. Many islanders, lying in forced sleep, don't indicate especially sincere enjoyment. Longer, unusual silence. Envelops are waiting now. Perhaps later advice. Nearer solution.
The first letter of each word will spell the message we want Johnson to get.
I have it translated. 8 p.m. Fuel 50 miles. Diesel. Use own plans.
If Johnson gets that, we're saved sure.
Johnson will get it.
The magic island of the South Seas lies hidden behind its mysterious bank of magnetic fog. The Gregory yacht and the Johnson rescue boat are lashed together, both held captive at Pier 5 on this weird island of Euclidia. On board the yacht, Mrs. Gregory and Captain Bradford are planning everything as exactly as possible. For at 8 o'clock, just after dark, they're going to try to escape from the island in Johnson's boat. Jerry and Joan are starting along the pier to the island, beginning what may prove to be a very dangerous adventure, as they will try to gain control of the radio and power chambers on the island. It is now just 6:30. 1 hour and a half before the plans must be completed.
Now you must remember, Jerry, that we are to speak of nothing out of the ordinary until we are in the sound channel.
Hey, Joan, why can't we use that sound channel elevator to go down in? You know, the one we came up in last time?
We will do so, Jerry, if we are able to get it to open for us. Remember that we must ask the control chamber for permission to enter.
Well, when those guards hear that we've got the antidote to bring those scientists out of their sleep, they'll be glad enough to let us go down in there.
But, Jerry, we haven't...
Yes, we have. You forgot it, so I brought it all right.
But, Jerry, Captain
Bradford...
I
know.
That...
Captain Bradford said for you to carry it, but you walked right out without it, so I stuck it in my pocket.
But, Jerry... Oh, Jerry, you stepped right on my foot.
Well, if you don't quit arguing with me, I might have to step on your neck. Now, listen. I've got the stuff Captain Bradford said would bring those Euclidean scientists back to their senses again. And don't give me any more argument.
Oh, Jerry, I begin to understand.
Oh, don't hurry. Next week will be a swell time to start understanding me.
But I did not mean to be stupid, Jerry. You need not be so angry with me. I was not trying to misunderstand you.
Maybe not, but you did just as good a job of it as if you tried to.
I am sorry, Jerry. And of course we must hurry to the laboratory. G47 will be very angry if we do not wake him and the other scientists as soon as possible.
Now you're coming alive again. Okay, here's the elevator. Recite that hocus pocus that opens it up.
Cleostra at the main elevator shaft. Cleostra at the main elevator shaft.
Maybe they won't let us go down there till we explain to them that we've got the stuff they want.
That should not be necessary. The guard must have heard us discussing it. Yes, Jerry. The elevator is opening again. The top of the shaft covering is arising from the island.
I guess you're right at that. Is this the same elevator we got stuck in when the submarine lock broke and flooded the 5th level?
Yes, Jerry. This is the same elevator.
We can sure pick the nicest places to play.
I think that will not happen again.
I think it better not.
Now the door will open, Jerry.
Now, don't recite all that to me again, Joan. The last time we were in this thing, you said the door will open again. And it didn't. Let me figure this one out for myself.
Why are you so angry with me, Jerry?
Oh, I'm not angry. I'm in a hurry. Here we go. Oh, the floor sounds the same anyway. Now I'll push this thing for the 5th level.
That is right, Jerry.
Now, and down we go. They can hear us talking in the control chamber, can't they?
Yes, Jerry. All we say can be heard.
Well, I'm glad of that. There goes the 1st level.
Yes. But why do you say you are glad we may be heard in the control chamber?
Because if anything happens to the elevator this time, I'm going to yell until somebody comes and gets us out.
We have passed the 2nd level.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll find all those Euclidean scientists still asleep when we get to the laboratory.
Captain Bradford said he was afraid they would be asleep for hours.
Oh, there's a 3rd level. Yeah. Tex did act kind of worried about how long the gas would keep them asleep.
G47 will be very angry with Captain Bradford when he wakes up and thinks what the captain's formula did to him.
Well, it's his own fault. That's the 4th level. And if G47 hadn't been in such a hurry to get his hands on his formula, well, Tex would have told him to look out for that gas explosion if it didn't work just right.
He will blame the captain in some way, Jerry. I dread to think what will happen when he wakes up.
Well, I guess this is as far as we go.
Yes, the door will open automatically now.
That's what you said the last time.
But look, Jerry, it is really opening now.
Oh, that's good. I could get nervous awful easy in one of these things. Well, let's get going.
Yes, Jerry.
Now, where's that laboratory?
Right this way, Jerry.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of turned around.
Now, right in here, Jerry. Hurry inside.
Boy, you sure thought fast when you steered me in here, Joan. I pretty near forgot and went to the laboratory.
And you thought very swiftly, Jerry, up there on the surface of the island, when you spoke as if we were taking something from Captain Bradford to wake up those men in the chemical chamber.
Well, now that we're both thinking, let's get busy on why we're playing hide and seek down here. Where do you start to clear the way of the radio room?
There is a detailed chart of the island on the work table over there. I will point out the strategic points.
Okay, but let's get in some corner of the room where our voices don't sound like we're hollering down a well.
Come with me. We will find a zone of soundproofing near the chart table.
Well, our feet don't make any more noise. Hey, our voices are all right now.
Yes, Jerry. That was the end of the sound testing zone.
Swell. Now, where's this plan of the island?
Right here. Is it not beautiful?
Hey, I don't see any maps or drawings. What are you talking about?
This, Jerry. This shining cylinder is an exact replica of the island.
That thing?
Yes, of course.
Golly whiskers, Joan. Well, that looks like a big tin can, about the size of a 10-gallon can, with a cogwheel on the top of it.
Exactly, Jerry. And that is what this island looks like. That is a perfect scale model of the island.
Gee. And that cogwheel on the top is the piers?
Yes. Those arms extending from the upper rim are the piers, and those little metal projections, shaped like a falling drop of water, those are the control chambers on the surface of the island.
Boy. And all these little outline places in the sides. They show the levels, don't they? Now, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 5th level, isn't it?
Yes, and you may see the outlines of the submarine locks there. All of the submarines are at this level. They are kept here so they will still be free of the ocean floor when the island is submerged. Then the submarines may enter or leave their locks, and the surface of the island will be under 40 feet of water.
Boy, I'd like to be able to take that thing back home with me. Wouldn't I have something to show the boys and girls?
It weighs nearly 1,000 pounds, Jerry. I think you would have some trouble carrying it.
Yeah, I'd have to use both hands for that. Well, we've had enough fun. Now, where's a picture of the insides of this funny island? We've got to make our plans and move fast. Somebody's coming to investigate us if we don't hurry it up.
You may see the inside of the island with this model, Jerry.
Huh? You mean look through that steel?
No, this is not the transparent steel. This is opaque. But it opens up at the touch of a finger. So.
Well, giggling goldfish.
Jerry, you know very well that a goldfish does not giggle.
Oh, I know that. But I'll bet he would if he could see this. Look, Joan. The whole thing is opened up. Each level just slides out to the side as if there were little shells.
Is it not wonderful, Jerry?
Sure is, Joan. It's about the most wonderful thing like that I ever saw. Gee, look. Look. There's a little submarine in the locks.
And there is the chemical laboratory where the chemists are all asleep.
Oh, yeah. And we're near asleep here. Now, get your nose down close to this, Joan, and show me where every important control room on the island is.
The main radio control room, as you know, is there on the surface of the island.
Yeah, can't we do anything to that from here?
Not directly, but I will show you how we may handicap the operation of the beams later.
Never mind later. Do it now.
Very well. And now down here, in the 10th level, the last one in the island proper, are located all the tremendous turbines and motors and generators that furnish the power and light for all devices on the island.
Then that's the place we've got to hit for, right away.
No, Jerry, we must not do that. That would spoil all our plans.
Well, I don't see how. If we can get to that machinery, we can shut off their power, can't we?
We could not get into the power chambers. Even the men who work there are locked in. Then they are relieved at intervals by an armed guard who lock a new group of men in there. And anyone other than the workmen assigned to that section who even appeared on that level would be punished severely and given no chance to explain.
Gosh, that doesn't sound so good.
But we do not want to go into that section, Jerry.
No? Why don't we?
Because if we could shut off the power down there, we would never get out of the island. every door and elevator would lock automatically and remain sealed until the repairs were completed. Have you forgotten our experience in the elevator? Were we not locked in there?
Yeah. This begins to look not so easy, Joan.
Oh, do not lose heart, Jerry. Even if we could do all that safely, we would not want to, as we must have the power in the radio chamber when we are ready to send the message to Johnson. And we would be defeating our own purpose if we cut off the power.
Well, then what can we do that's any good?
Look into that little chamber, Jerry. The solid round one directly beneath the radio chamber, just a few feet under the surface of the island.
Yeah, I see it. What's that?
That is the main electrical dispatch room. All the power and lighting circuits on the island pass through a series of master keys and switches there. And we can nearly control the whole island if we can take over that room.
But can we take it over?
It will require courage, Jerry, and what you call a lot of luck. But I think we may hope to do it.
Well, you know your way around here and up there better than I do. What's the plan?
We must go into the radio control chamber, directly above that one, and overcome the guards. Then repeat the procedure in the room below.
How many guards?
There will be only 2 in the upper chamber, I think, and 1 in the lower.
Well, that doesn't sound too bad. They've got ray guns, I guess.
Yes, powerful ones. Not like these little ones we have, and... Oh, Jerry, I have just thought of something.
Huh? Good or bad?
Wonderful. It is in this room that the protective paint is kept. There, Jerry, in that round vat.
What do you mean, protective paint?
The paint which will protect us against the rays for our hands and face.
You mean with that paint on our hands and faces, they can't hurt us with their ray guns?
Yes, Jerry. We have on Euclidean cloth garments, and with that paint on our hands and faces, the rays will be harmless to us.
Well, then let's get into the paint, quick.
Someone is in the room.
Can they see us?
Not yet. We are hidden here.
Then work fast. Shoot your ray gun off. I'll fall like you shot me. You tell them you caught me here.
But Jerry,
Do as I say. I've got an idea. Shoot that gun so I can fall. Quick.
When a man has learned how to do something, he wants that something to be important and needed and wanted in the world. Well, progress tends to eliminate various old necessities and replace them with new ones. And sometimes people are unwilling to change. Once upon a time, there was the occupation of buggy whip maker, for example. And I wonder how many people today make their living chipping flint points for arrows. Various professions have been eliminated, and various others will be, by automation, by other forces of society. But sometimes an individual fights back, and that can cause trouble. Who's there? Who is standing there?
Excuse me, sir.
Come forward. Out of the shadow where I can see you.
Oh, yes, sir. I didn't mean to frighten you.
Who are you?
My name is Mara, sir.
I've never seen you before. What do you want?
The robot down the highway said that I would find the owner of this dome in the garden, but I couldn't hear what else it said. It's rusty.
Is it? I must see to it. Although it would really be wasted effort. You're the first visitor to this home in, must be 6 years, or perhaps it's 7.
I wanted the robot to tell me if this was the dome of Cran.
Yes, I am Cran.
Oh.
Come. Can't you see I'm wearing a very thin robe? The wind up the canals is sharp this time of evening.
Oh, please don't be angry. I need your help.
You need my help?
You are a doctor, aren't you?
What?
Are you a doctor?
My child, I am the last physician alive on all the planets of the human race. The last except for Targ, whose name you also saw on the card index. But he is senile, and he lies on his couch all still.
My sister is sick up on the mountain.
Yes, I believe I have the signal honor to be the last physician among the race of men.
Poor Targ, a hopeless case. He couldn't attend the ceremony. That was 10 years ago. On my 125th birthday. Very impressive.
Please listen, Fran. My sister is sick.
Thousands of people, educators, dignitaries honoring me. The last of my kind. A sad thought. And it's not right. I thought it wasn't right at the time. My profession goes back to the beginnings of recorded time. And then suddenly we're no longer needed. Turned out with a medal and a statue and a thank you.
Oh, Cran, what must I do to make you understand?
Let go of my arm.
My sister is sick with some kind of disease.
It's impossible, my child.
I knew you wouldn't believe me. I just knew it.
Disease has been destroyed.
That doesn't change the fact that my sister is lying up on the mountain with her skin hot as fire 1 hour, as cold as ice the next. She trembles and she moans. Oh, Tom.
Young woman, is your sister expecting a child? If so, she should report immediately to the automation hospital. There's one down the road. Start with the finest obstetrics.
There is no child. She's just sick.
I refuse to believe that.
Oh, all right, then. I'll go back and watch her die. Then.
Wait a moment. I would help you if I could, but I haven't had a case since I was 40 years old. There's been no need.
I know all that. I went to school once.
Disease is an outmoded concept. Chemotherapeutics long ago rid the human strain of its infirmities, cleansed the planets of illness. Psychotherapeutics cleanse the minds of men. True sickness is obsolete.
So all you care about is that my sister violates all your rules.
Perhaps it is natural death. Perhaps you should have taken her to the geriatric mortuary. We have not obliterated death, you know. And if she's quite old, perhaps it's time for her to go to the machine.
My sister is 28 years old.
Oh, I see.
How far is the city? Maybe if I go there, I can find someone who won't laugh at me.
Wait. Please, come inside.
So that you can joke with me again?
Be silent. Come inside. A little light, please. Touch your hand along the wall of the dome. There, that's better. Now sit down.
Oh, I'm going to the city. If I find someone there.
Oh, will you be silent? I'm trying to help you if I can. I don't know what I can do. It's been many years, but I'll try. Now, sit down.
All right.
How long has your sister been in this condition?
For 8 days.
What are the, I've forgotten the words. Yes, the symptoms.
Oh, she's hot and cold and turned. She doesn't recognize me. Oh, she coughs and coughs.
Good heavens.
What's wrong?
It sounds like some sort of primitive illness. At the end of my practice, my last patient was a complex of neurogeriatric syndromes. I studied nothing but multiple ills. And then when the last of those were wiped out by the new drugs and the new techniques, why, I simply had to quit. But a primitive disorder.
I've bothered you for nothing.
What do you mean? I'm going to try, certainly.
What good will that do?
My child, I am a physician, and it is my duty to try. That much I remember. Come now. I think my unicar is still working. You'll have to direct me to the mountain to your sister. The man has really forgotten his trade. He can still feel terrible resentment.
Oh, listen, she must be in terrible pain.
Ah, is so steep. I'm not used to such.
No, but it's just a little further. We're almost to the dome.
I didn't believe in such desolate place.
Well, our father built his hydraulic sheds up here because he disliked the city. And when he died, we had to stay here because we didn't know any other place to make a living.
We're here. Open the door quickly, girl. Put on the light.
We don't have atomics, just a small generator for electricity.
Well, that will have to do. Now, let me have a look at her. Oh, yes, you are right. Her skin is burning.
Oh, Neela. Neela, can you hear me? I brought a physician.
It's no use. I've forgotten the simplest words. What is it? What is it? Oh, yes, now it comes back to me. She's delirious. Bring the table closer. Now, do you know how to load one of these viewers?
I'll try.
Now, set the viewer on the table. The text on the film, if I remember rightly, contains close to 1 million diagnostic patterns. Now, just get the spool under the sprockets.
Oh, I think I see how to do it.
Now, young woman. Mila, that's your name, isn't it? Open your mouth for me. Come now, open it. Yeah, that's better. Now open your eyes. Then I'll have to do it myself. There. The pulse. Now, where's the pulse? The arm. Yeah, no, that's not it. Lower.
The text is on the viewer.
All right, I'll code the symptoms myself.
Do you know what's wrong? Can you help us?
To answer your first question, no, I don't know what's wrong. To answer your second, I will only know whether I can help her if the viewer finds a diagnosis for me after I code the symptoms. Now, if there is medication prescribed with the diagnosis, and if by chance I still have that medication in my kit, there might be a chance.
Oh, why did it have to happen to her?
Why, indeed. The learned men of all planets would doubtless be curious to know the answer also. Yes, let me sit that down at the view. Let's see. First symptom, fever. Second symptom, inflammation of the throat cavity. Third symptom, advanced olfactory congestion. In a moment, we should have the answer, if there is one contained in this text. This last key. There. Great heavens! John, can't you see the cards from the last appendix of the text? Antique melodies. Let's see what it says. Yes. All the symptoms are exact. The cause is a virus. There's the code name right there. The proper agent, let's see. At the bottom of the card, chemotherapeutic number 411009. Open the kit quickly.
What was the nominality? 4110. Oh, yes. In here, 009.
2 of them, 2 of the tablets. Give them to your sister.
Mila, please do as I ask. You open your mouth. That's right. Now take these tablets. Oh, that's right. And swallow. Oh, that's fine, Mila. And now you rest, dear. And you'll be better soon.
Please stand aside.
What are you going to do with that?
This hypodermic, I want a sample of your sister's body fluid.
What for?
Give me a quantity of the virus to enable me to duplicate the virus in my own laboratory.
What's wrong with you? Oh, your face, it looks so different now.
Viruses were virtually destroyed a long time ago, but perhaps immunity has weakened in 300 years. Perhaps if the cause were there again and the immunity was not...
Don't you touch her with that needle!
Please stand back, my child. I have helped your sister. A small quantity of blood in return is a fair exchange. It's not right that we should be dismissed for the medal and the statue. It's not fair. I'll make myself the scapegoat if necessary. Take the blame for spreading the disease. That's all right. I am an old man. But I have made it possible for others after me to practice medicine once more. The virus may mutate, and it may strain, immunity may be gone. Stand back. A few cc's of fluid in this little chamber, and there'll be disease again, and physicians to heal.
You get away from me!
Get back, I warn you. If I must use violence, I can still find strength.
Stay away! Stay away!
Oh, sweetheart,
When a man is retired from his business, it's one thing to know that the business is still going on, that the business itself has not been retired. But somehow, it's a much deeper hurt to have the business itself cease to exist. If only that business hadn't stopped, that he could feel that something of his business was going on. I think that's what's bothering the ex-doctor.
My sister died during the night.
I'm sorry.
You're not sorry at all.
You must understand. I couldn't stay with you. I left you there unconscious. I knew you'd come around soon enough.
But my sister died.
I did what I could. I gave the prescribed medication. It's lucky I had some of it at all. The virus must have been too strong. The immunity factor down to nil.
That's why I came. To ask whether I will contact the disease.
It's possible.
And could pass it on to others.
I wouldn't allow myself over that. I'd be making my own plan.
And that's why you took the blood?
Of course.
Do you think that this particular virus is widespread?
I am sure it isn't. This one case must be pure accident. I told you that the virus, as a cause of infection, like all causes of physical and mental illness, was totally counteracted, years ago. And that's why I was given the medal and the statue, because they didn't need me or my kind. But they will again, and soon.
Oh, I've never had much education, but this idea of yours, it just isn't decent.
Oh, no?
You'd bring sickness to people just to carry on a tradition.
Not a tradition. The noblest tradition in the history of the human race. A tradition of comfort, of healing, of leading sick minds and bodies back to health.
But that was accomplished years ago, you said so yourself.
Yes, but it's not right, that's all. Not when so much has been given and sacrificed for the good of mankind.
What you plan to do is not for the good of mankind.
I won't listen to you anymore.
What you plan to do violates everything that's right. A doctor is supposed to heal, to cure.
I didn't do so very well with your sister, did I?
For that I can forgive you. You said yourself it was a rare case. Perhaps it will strike me and I will die. And then it will never happen again. But to set out to create disease...
Get out of this laboratory, you little
rat. Before other doctors and look them in the face and say, I'm doing this for you, making others ill so that you can be doctors again.
There are no doctors except Targ, and he's senile. I am the last.
And you are very old and something's happened to your mind.
I warn you, leave this stone immediately.
Not before I destroy whatever you took from my sister.
You see this? A laboratory torch. See the blue flame? It burns. We'll burn you if you come a step close.
Just destroy what you took from my sister, that's all I ask.
Not a step nearer.
If you don't, I'll destroy you and myself and this whole place.
You're a fool.
I know it. And I'm not very old or well educated, but I may be a better physician than you are.
I told you to stand back. I'll burn you.
Is that it, the large flask?
Don't touch it.
Watch out, old man. Your bones move slowly.
Let go. Let go.
There, see it fall, old man.
I'll kill you. I'll blast you with the torch.
You missed me.
Stand still. Stand still.
You set fire to the wall.
Come back. Don't hide that way. Come out from behind there.
Now is your chance for you to create your new diseases.
Now, which way? Flame, block me. You'll die with me.
I know, but I don't care.
It's not right. I am the last doctor. The tradition must be carried on. They gave me a medal, a statue. It's not right. It's not right. Not right. If you're looking for a more secure and stable world in the future, I'm afraid you're in for unhappiness and disappointment. The world of the future is going to obey the ancient law. Change. Learn. Find a new and better way. Because the old way always turns out to be a little inadequate. There is nothing that's perfect. Let's go to work and find a better one. It's the whole point of progress. Do a better job than we've ever done before. And you know, when an occupation, when a profession, when a tradition dies, it served a purpose. The purpose does not die. That goes on. And that's what the old doctor didn't recognize. The purpose was to serve human life. And that went on. And always will.
presenting the transcription feature, Superman. Up in the sky, look, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. And now, Superman. Superman had left the blazing inferno of Stonehouse and gone winging his way back over the Sound toward the wrecked autogyro of the Indian priests, who had recovered the emerald of the Incas from Dr. George Haven Beecham, world-famous scientist and explorer, and set fire to his temporary home. Remaining on the grounds of Stonehouse to watch the blaze and summon help, Dr. Beecham and his daughter Elsie had both made startling and important discoveries. As our story continues today, we find them in a small car, racing toward a distant airport, hoping against hope to get there in time. Listen.
Watch out. Here's the curve.
Elsie, you almost hit that car.
Oh, Dad, it's all right. Look here. That thing you picked up on the lawn. You hardly told me about it at all.
Providential, simply providential, if we can only find those native priests.
Well, what'll you do?
I'll show them what I found, the sacred amulet of the head priest, almost as sacred as the emerald itself, Elsie. Not quite, but almost.
And you really think you can bargain with it?
Only if I can get there. Only if we can make the airport before they can take off in their plane.
Dad, what will you do?
I'll return the amulet and borrow the emerald. That's all I want of it. I don't mean to keep it. I never intended that.
Dad, this emerald, is it really as important as all that?
Yes, Elsie, I've told you once, and I'll tell you again. If I can recover the emerald of the Incas and decipher the writing carved on its base, I may have found the secret of life itself. Possibly the secret of life everlasting. Oh, hurry, dear, faster if you can.
I'm doing my best, Dad.
We must get there in time to head them off. I tell you, we must. I wonder if that reporter, Kent, has found the autogyro.
Meanwhile, high over the water of the Sound, Superman wings and wheels, his marvelous telescopic eyesight piercing the blackness below for some sign of the wrecked autogyro.
I could have sworn this was the place. Just off that point with the white building. Wait. What's that? Far down below the surface. Looks like wreckage underwater. That plane was sunk deliberately. Well, the next thing to do is pay a call at the nearest station of the Coast Guard. Up! Up! That White House looks like the place. There's the signal light. Down we go, right in the front yard. Seems a shame to wake them out of a sound sleep. The chances are they keep somebody on duty all night anyway. And for the moment, I'll have to become Clark Kent. Superman might amaze even the Coast Guard.
All right. What's the big rush?
Oh, I'm sorry to disturb you, but...
What is it?
I'm looking for some friends of mine who set out this afternoon in an autogyro.
Oh, an autogyro, hey?
Yes.
You know them fellas?
Well, we're acquainted. We've met.
Well, they ain't here, but they've been picked up all right.
Oh?
Seems they had trouble and came down on the water about a mile out. Indians, wasn't they?
Oh, well, yes, more or less.
Well, if they ain't, they sure got a swell tan. Anyhow, we brought them in and they beat it.
Well, can you tell me where they've gone?
Central Airport, they said. We couldn't understand half their lingo. They don't speak English so hot.
Central Airport? You mean they've chartered another plane?
I mean they're leaving for parts unknown. They told me the time. It's just about 5 minutes from now.
5 minutes?
So unless you're figuring on getting to that airport by radio or flying there yourself, you're out of luck. It's 30 miles.
Oh, thanks. Sorry to have bothered you.
Okay. It's too bad you missed your friends, but maybe they won't take off. The barometer's falling. Looks like dirty weather coming up. Good night.
Good night.
So, you think I've missed them, sailor, eh? Well, live and learn. 5 minutes before they take off, huh? And the airport is 30 miles away. Well, you never know what you could do until you try. Here goes. Up. Up.
Dad, look, there it is. That's the airport. Oh, well, there's the gate.
Elsie, what are you doing? You'll put us in the ditch.
Sorry, I can't help it, Dad. I had to make that turn. Would have gone right by if I hadn't.
Look, what's that? Out there on the runway.
That isn't a runway. It's a seaplane anchorage. Oh, there was a flash of light.
It's a plane. It's going up. I saw it in the flash. Elsie, stop. Help! Stop that plane! Stop it!
Dad, come back! It's too late. They're moving. Oh, there's the rain. Dad, the storm.
That must be the plane. Nobody else would be taking off in weather like this. Why doesn't somebody come? Stop them! Catch them! Somebody stop them!
High over the airport, a great white seaplane rocks and slips in the sudden grip of a storm. Lightning jabs wickedly through low cloud. Shows figures running wildly for shelter on the field below. Shows another figure, faster than the storm itself, racing down the wind. Superman, come just in time to meet a seaplane heading south with the Indian priests of Azatlan.
Ah, there she is. Must be. Private seaplane swinging toward the open water. And what fools to take off at a time like this. Great Scott, the lightning shows it up like daytime. Not that I need it. Sorry, gentlemen, you've got a fast ship there, but it's not quite as fast as Superman. Now, I think we'll just put a sudden stop to that trip south. If I brought down an autogyro, shouldn't wonder if I could do the same with the seaplane. Here I come. Now then, if I dive into the cabin... What the... Great heavens, lightning. Bolt of lightning struck the plane and smashed to pieces, on fire. The men are falling into the water. If I don't catch them, they'll be drowned. Gotta get there fast. Down into the sea. Faster, faster!
What happened, Elsie? I couldn't see.
Oh, Dad, I don't know.
The lightning. Could you make it out, Elsie?
No, Dad, I'm not sure. It seems as if a bolt of lightning went right through the plane, and then I didn't see anything at all.
Yes.
Here, stay under the shelter. But, Dad, good heavens, here comes Mr. Kent.
What, Kent, what did you...
Good evening, Doctor. Or rather, good morning. You got room in here for 3 more?
Why, those men with you. The brown men, Kent, the priests.
Oh, yes. Strangest thing. I was on my way here following the autogyro when there was a flash of lightning and a seaplane went down in the sea, just off the breakwater.
And you rescued them?
All but one, Doctor. Pilot was done for. The lightning bolt went right through him. But these two, well, call it luck.
Why, Kent, it's amazing.
Simply unbelievable.
Well, here we are. There's one thing I must tell you, Doctor. I had a choice.
A choice?
Yes, come over here a minute, will you? Yeah, that's better. Yes, a choice. I could have saved the baggage with whatever might have been in it. You understand, Doctor?
Yes, I understand. The emerald.
Yes, or the 2 priests. But I couldn't save both. It had to be one or the other.
Mr. Kent, we understand.
Human life, Miss Beecham. They've done a lot to you. Poison arrows, fire. But after all, well, there was something on their side, too. And I couldn't just sit there and let them drown.
No, Kent, of course not.
You did exactly right.
Oh, I hoped you'd think that. It's too bad about the emerald, of course. No telling where it is now.
The emerald of the Incas is gone. Forever.
Mr. Kent, one of the priests. He's coming this way.
White man, you save our lives. We of Azatlan, we thank you.
Oh, don't mention it.
You have great magic, white man. Magic greater than ours. I have seen you fly through air.
Oh, that's enough of that. Never mind the rest. There's just one thing we wanted.
We know what you want. The sacred emerald. But it is at the bottom of the great water.
And then it's all over. And if that's the case, there's no use my keeping this any longer.
What's that, Doctor?
Well, white man, where you find that?
On the lawn outside my house. It's an amulet, a priest's amulet of the Azatlan Indians. Could it, by any chance, be yours?
White man, give it to me.
Of course. Take it.
Oh, my goodness. Seems to mean everything to him.
White man, you think you have lost, but you have not.
What?
Well, what does he mean?
My magic tell me you do not want emerald to steal.
No, of course not.
On the emerald was writing. It was writing you wish to read?
Yes, that's it. That's all I wanted it for, believe me.
Very well. Writing is here.
Dad, what does he mean? Well, he's tapping his head.
You mean to say you'll tell me everything that was on the emerald? You can remember it?
We will do that. Every last sign on the jewel of the immortals. But no one know what it means.
Yeah, that's all right. My studies, that's what I want to do, work it out. It may take me years. But, Kent, do you hear what he says?
Dad, I can't believe it. Maybe the secret isn't lost after all.
Once my people know what writing on emerald mean, now they do not know. If you help them remember, maybe you do great good to all.
Kent, I still don't believe it. It's not possible. Why, Kent, where are you going?
Mr. Kent.
Well, look, the emerald's gone, but everything else is all right. And I've just remembered something. After all, I am a newspaper man. And this may be the biggest story since the flood. So long, folks. I'm on my way.
And so, even though the sacred emerald of the Incas is lost to humanity forever, the secret engraved on it may yet be revealed. Undoubtedly, we will learn what progress Dr. Beecham makes at some later date. In the meantime, Clark Kent is returning to his newspaper, the Daily Planet, where, unknown to him, another exciting adventure awaits. Don't fail to tune in next time and follow the thrilling story of Superman. And remember, be sure to tune in the next thrilling installment of the amazing transcription feature, Superman. Up in the sky, look! It's a bird.
It's a plane!
It's Superman! Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
The magic island of the South Seas lies hidden behind its mysterious bank of magnetic fog. The Gregory yacht and the Johnson rescue boat are lashed together, both held captive at Pier 5 on this weird island of Euclidia. On board the yacht, Mrs. Gregory and Captain Bradford are planning everything as exactly as possible. For at 8 o'clock, just after dark, they're going to try to escape from the island in Johnson's boat. Jerry and Joan are starting along the pier to the island, beginning what may prove to be a very dangerous adventure, as they will try to gain control of the radio and power chambers on the island. It is now just 6:30. 1 hour and a half before the plans must be completed.
Now you must remember, Jerry, that we are to speak of nothing out of the ordinary until we are in the sound channel.
Hey, Joan, why can't we use that sound channel elevator to go down in? You know, the one we came up in last time?
We will do so, Jerry, if we are able to get it to open for us. Remember that we must ask the control chamber for permission to enter.
Well, when those guards hear that we've got the antidote to bring those scientists out of their sleep, they'll be glad enough to let us go down in there.
But, Jerry, we haven't...
Yes, we have. You forgot it, so I brought it all right.
But, Jerry, Captain
Bradford... I know.
Said that...
Captain Bradford said for you to carry it, but you walked right out without it, so I stuck it in my pocket.
But, Jerry... Oh, Jerry, you stepped right on my foot.
Well, if you don't quit arguing with me, I might have to step on your neck. Now, listen. I've got the stuff Captain Bradford said would bring those Euclidean scientists back to their senses again. And don't give me any more argument.
Oh, Jerry, I begin to understand.
Oh, don't hurry. Next week will be a swell time to start understanding me.
But I did not mean to be stupid, Jerry. You need not be so angry with me. I was not trying to misunderstand you.
Maybe not, but you did just as good a job of it as if you tried to.
I am sorry, Jerry. And of course we must hurry to the laboratory. G47 will be very angry if we do not wake him and the other scientists as soon as possible.
Now you're coming alive again. Okay, here's the elevator. Recite that hocus pocus that opens it up.
Cleostra at the main elevator shaft. Cleostra at the main elevator shaft.
Maybe they won't let us go down there till we explain to them that we've got the stuff they want.
That should not be necessary. The guard must have heard us discussing it. Yes, Jerry. The elevator is opening again. The top of the shaft covering is arising from the island.
I guess you're right at that. Is this the same elevator we got stuck in when the submarine lock broke and flooded the 5th level?
Yes, Jerry. This is the same elevator.
We can sure pick the nicest places to play.
I think that will not happen again.
I think it better not.
Now the door will open, Jerry.
Now, don't recite all that to me again, Joan. The last time we were in this thing, you said the door will open again. And it didn't. Let me figure this one out for myself.
Why are you so angry with me, Jerry?
Oh, I'm not angry. I'm in a hurry. Here we go. Oh, the floor sounds the same anyway. Now I'll push this thing for the 5th level.
That is right, Jerry.
Now, and down we go. They can hear us talking in the control chamber, can't they?
Yes, Jerry. All we say can be heard.
Well, I'm glad of that. There goes the 1st level.
Yes. But why do you say you are glad we may be heard in the control chamber?
Because if anything happens to the elevator this time, I'm going to yell until somebody comes and gets us out.
We have passed the 2nd level.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll find all those Euclidean scientists still asleep when we get to the laboratory.
Captain Bradford said he was afraid they would be asleep for hours.
Well, there's a 3rd level. Yeah. Tex did act kind of worried about how long the gas would keep them asleep.
G47 will be very angry with Captain Bradford when he wakes up and thinks what the captain's formula did to him.
Well, it's his own fault. That's the 4th level. And if G47 hadn't been in such a hurry to get his hands on his formula, well, Tex would have told him to look out for that gas explosion if it didn't work just right.
He will blame the captain in some way, Jerry. I dread to think what will happen when he wakes up.
Well, I guess this is as far as we go.
Yes, the door will open automatically now.
That's what you said the last time.
But look, Jerry, it is really opening now.
Oh, that's good. I could get nervous awful easy in one of these things. Well, let's get going.
Yes, Jerry.
Now, where's that laboratory?
Right this way, Jerry.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of turned around.
Now, right in here, Jerry. Hurry inside.
Boy, you sure thought fast when you steered me in here, Joan. I pretty near forgot and went to the laboratory.
And you thought very swiftly, Jerry, up there on the surface of the island, when you spoke as if we were taking something from Captain Bradford to wake up those men in the chemical chamber.
Well, now that we're both thinking, let's get busy on why we're playing hide and seek down here. Where do you start to clear the way of the radio room?
There is a detailed chart of the island on the work table over there. I will point out the strategic points.
Okay, but let's get in some corner of the room where our voices don't sound like we're hollering down a well.
Come with me. We will find a zone of soundproofing near the chart table.
Well, our feet don't make any more noise. Hey, our voices are all right now.
Yes, Jerry. That was the end of the sound testing zone.
Swell. Now, where's this plan of the island?
Right here. Is it not beautiful?
Hey, I don't see any maps or drawings. What are you talking about?
This, Jerry. This shining cylinder is an exact replica of the island.
That thing?
Yes, of course.
Golly whiskers, Joan. Well, that looks like a big tin can, about the size of a 10-gallon can, with a cogwheel on the top of it.
Exactly, Jerry. And that is what this island looks like. That is a perfect scale model of the island.
Gee. And that cogwheel on the top is the piers?
Yes. Those arms extending from the upper rim are the piers, and those little metal projections, shaped like a falling drop of water, those are the control chambers on the surface of the island.
Boy. And all these little outline places in the sides. They show the levels, don't they? Now, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 5th level, isn't it?
Yes, and you may see the outlines of the submarine locks there. All of the submarines are at this level. They are kept here so they will still be free of the ocean floor when the island is submerged. Then the submarines may enter or leave their locks, and the surface of the island will be under 40 feet of water.
Boy, I'd like to be able to take that thing back home with me. Wouldn't I have something to show the boys and girls?
It weighs nearly 1,000 pounds, Jerry. I think you would have some trouble carrying it.
Yeah, I'd have to use both hands for that. Well, we've had enough fun. Now, where's a picture of the insides of this funny island? We've got to make our plans and move fast. Somebody's coming to investigate us if we don't hurry it up.
You may see the inside of the island with this model, Jerry.
Huh? You mean look through that steel?
No, this is not the transparent steel. This is opaque. But it opens up at the touch of a finger. So.
Well, giggling goldfish.
Jerry, you know very well that a goldfish does not giggle.
Oh, I know that. But I'll bet he would if he could see this. Look, Joan, the whole thing is opened up. Each level just slides out to the side as if there were little shells.
Is it not wonderful, Jerry?
Sure is, Joan. It's about the most wonderful thing like that I ever saw. Gee, look. Look, there's a little submarine in the locks.
And there is the chemical laboratory where the chemists are all asleep.
Oh, yeah. And we're near asleep here. Now, get your nose down close to this, Joan, and show me where every important control room on the island is.
The main radio control room, as you know, is there on the surface of the island.
Yeah, can't we do anything to that from here?
Not directly, but I will show you how we may handicap the operation of the beams later.
Never mind later. Do it now.
Very well. Now down here, in the 10th level, the last one in the island proper, are located all the tremendous turbines and motors and generators that furnish the power and light for all devices on the island.
Then that's the place we've got to hit for, right away.
No, Jerry, we must not do that. That would spoil all our plans.
Well, I don't see how. If we can get to that machinery, we can shut off their power, can't we?
We could not get into the power chambers. Even the men who work there are locked in. Then they are relieved at intervals by an armed guard who lock a new group of men in there. And anyone other than the workmen assigned to that section who even appeared on that level would be punished severely and given no chance to explain.
Gosh, that doesn't sound so good.
But we do not want to go into that section, Jerry.
No? Why don't we?
Because if we could shut off the power down there, we would never get out of the island. Every door and elevator would lock automatically. and remained sealed until the repairs were completed. Have you forgotten our experience in the elevator? Were we not locked in there?
Yeah. This begins to look not so easy, Joan.
Oh, do not lose heart, Jerry. Even if we could do all that safely, we would not want to, as we must have the power in the radio chamber when we are ready to send the message to Johnson. And we would be defeating our own purpose if we cut off the power.
Well, then what can we do that's any good?
Look into that little chamber, Jerry. The solid round one directly beneath the radio chamber, just a few feet under the surface of the island.
Yeah, I see it. What's that?
That is the main electrical dispatch room. All the power and lighting circuits on the island pass through a series of master keys and switches there. And we can nearly control the whole island if we can take over that room.
But can we take it over?
It will require courage, Jerry, and what you call a lot of luck. But I think we may hope to do it.
Well, you know your way around here and up there better than I do. What's the plan?
We must go into the radio control chamber, directly above that one, and overcome the guards. Then repeat the procedure in the room below.
How many guards?
There will be only 2 in the upper chamber, I think, and 1 in the lower.
Well, that doesn't sound too bad. They've got ray guns, I guess.
Yes, powerful ones. Not like these little ones we have, and... Oh, Jerry, I have just thought of something.
Huh? Good or bad?
Wonderful. It is in this room that the protective paint is kept. There, Jerry, in that round vat.
What do you mean, protective paint?
The paint which will protect us against the rays for our hands and face.
You mean with that paint on our hands and faces, they can't hurt us with their ray guns?
Yes, Jerry. We have on Euclidean cloth garments, and with that paint on our hands and faces, the rays will be harmless to us.
Well, then let's get into the paint, quick.
Someone is in the room.
Can they see us?
Not yet. We are hidden here.
Then work fast. Shoot your ray gun off. I'll fall like you shot me. You tell them you caught me here.
Jerry,
Do as I say. I've got an idea. Shoot that gun so I can fall. Quick.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invite you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Rocketing through the inky blackness of space far out in the asteroid belt, the Polaris suddenly picks up a radio call from Dr. Joan Dale, revealing that she and Cadet Roger Manning are on Asteroid 2049. Then, just as suddenly, her voice is drowned out by static. Now, on the control deck, Tom Corbett and Captain Strong work frantically to reestablish contact.
Rocket Cruiser Polaris to Dr. Joan Dale. This is Tom Corbett on the Polaris. Can you read me, Dr. Dale? Come in. Come in.
Polaris. This is Dr. Dale.
We've got her again, Captain Strong.
Good, I'll take over. Hello, Joan. This is Steve. Your rocket scout just exploded out here in space. How in the universe did you and Manning manage to abandon that ship and get to the asteroid?
We didn't abandon the ship, Steve. When Roger and I landed here, Mason and his men took us prisoner.
Joan, I don't understand. Why should Mason take you prisoners?
Well, he's learned that the ore he was sent here to mine is extremely valuable, so he's been strip mining. Selling the ore privately to line his own pockets.
I see.
He and his men were loading a privately owned freighter when we arrived. We caught them red-handed.
Where are you transmitting from, Joan? How did you get to a set?
We're locked up in a tool shed where their spare equipment is stored. Roger and I finally succeeded in rigging up this radio. Steve, you're our only hope. You've got to help us.
We're on our way, Joan.
And, Steve, another thing.
Yes?
In case anything goes wrong, I don't...
Hello, Joan? Joan, come in. What happened to the receiver, Tom?
Well, nothing, far as I can see, Captain
Well, check
Strong.
the circuit.
Oh, the circuit's all right, sir. She just isn't sending.
Well, try to raise her again.
Aye, sir. Polaris calling Dr. Joan Dale on Asteroid 2049. Polaris calling Joan Dale on Asteroid 2049. Come in, Dr. Dale. We aren't reading you.
Polaris to Dr. Dale. Come in. Come in.
Hello, Polaris. Can you hear me?
Yes, this is the Polaris. Come in.
Is that you, Captain Strong?
Strong here, yes.
Listen, Strong, this is Greg Mason on Asteroid 2049.
What have you done with Dr. Dale and Cadet Manning?
Stop using your tubes, Strong. They're still healthy. I just had to close the lady's mouth. She talks too much.
What do you hope to gain by this, Mason?
A fortune, Captain, and the freedom to enjoy it. Now get this and get it straight. We're going to monitor your space transmitter from now on. Stay away from here, and don't try to send a report to any ship. Is that clear?
And if we do...
Then it will be curtains for these two friends of yours. You'll never see them again, alive.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Say, Spaceman, did you ever go to a briefing session? Well, that's what the cadets at Space Academy do before each space flight. All the cadets on that flight meet in the ready room. Then the commander of the flight gives them their instructions about the mission. Well, one day, Captain Strong was telling the cadets about it.
All right, now, settle down, everybody. Now, that's better. Now, you all know your jobs. We'll start blasting off at 0800 hours. Blast off at 3-minute intervals in the order assigned and head for the rendezvous point. And one thing more. Don't stay in the sack and miss breakfast. You'll need your wits about you, and you'll need lots of energy. So get down to that mess hall early and put away a good breakfast. I suggest you belt away lots of Kellogg's Pep, for one thing. Pep gives you plenty of vitamins, plenty of good food values, plenty of energy food to call on. Vitamins B1 and D help keep you on your toes. So make sure you're getting your share. Some of you ought to have second helpings of Pep on that score alone. Besides, Pep tastes so downright good you'll ask for a second bowl anyway. Just make sure you leave some for me. That's all. Cadets, head up! Dismissed.
Well, I think Captain Strong had better get to that mess hall early himself. You know, Pep really makes a hit at the breakfast table. You spacemen out there, try Kellogg's Pep yourself. See how absolutely swell a cereal can be. You'll be just like cadets here at Space Academy if you sit down to the Spaceman cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
While transmitting a message to the Polaris for help, Dr. Joan Dale and Cadet Roger Manning are surprised by Greg Mason, the mining engineer who was holding them prisoner on Asteroid 2049. Mason then warns Captain Strong that if he attempts to land on the asteroid or contact the Solar Guard, Joan and Manning will be killed. Now several hours have passed, and Captain Strong and the Space Cadets are near Asteroid 2049, hoping to find a way to rescue their friends.
We're within radar range of Asteroid 2049, Captain Strong. What's our next move?
I don't know, Tom. I half expected Mason to warn us off again.
Well, there hasn't been a word from him since he warned us to keep away. And we'll be in visual contact in another minute or so. Shall we alter course?
No, let's hold her steady. I'd like to bait Mason into establishing radio contact again.
Well, sir, we're coming into visual range of the asteroid now.
Get a fix on it with the forward scanner, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Control deck to power deck. Check in.
Power deck aye. Net Astro here.
Astro, fire braking rockets 1 and 2.
Are we going to land, sir?
I don't know yet. Just stand by.
Aye, sir.
Captain Strong.
Oh, what's the trouble, Tom?
Look here in the forward scanner. There's no sign of the space freighter anywhere. The asteroid is deserted. I've been through the whole camp, Captain Strong. It's empty. Even the supplies are gone.
How about you, Astro?
Well, I didn't find anybody, if that's what you mean, sir, but I did notice something else.
What's that?
The ore veins in the mine are all played out, sir. There's nothing down there to mine.
No? Well, it's beginning to make sense now.
How do you mean, sir?
Well, Mason and his men must have been just about ready to close up operations here when Joan and Roger arrived and found out what they were up to.
So now they've cleared out and have the whole universe to hide in.
Which means we'll never find them now.
Not unless Joan and Roger left some kind of clue for us.
Well, but they didn't, Captain. We've searched every square inch of this asteroid.
Say, wait a minute, Astro. Remember when Dr. Dale first gave us that lab lecture on this ore?
Sure. What about it?
Remember she said it was very scarce, only 2 known sources?
Yeah, that's right. Asteroid 2049 and a twin. I forget which one it was now.
Number 2046.
What are you getting at, Tom?
Well, it's just a wild hunch, sir, but suppose Dr. Dale told Mason about the twin.
Why should she?
To keep Mason from killing her and Roger. He'd have no reason to keep prisoners with this mine played out.
Sure, and if she told him there was another deposit of that ore, Mason wouldn't lose any time blasting off to find it.
And he'd save valuable time by taking Joan along to help him.
And he's still safe with Dr. Dale and Roger as hostages.
Yeah, but all this leaves us just where we were before. If we try to land on the asteroid, he'd just carry out his threat to kill them.
Well, let's jump our hurdles one at a time. The first thing we have to do is to find Mason. Get back aboard the Polaris, boys, and prepare to blast off.
Well, Dr. Dale, you can thank your friends for keeping their word. So far, they haven't reported what's happened to you and Manning.
How long do you think you can get away with this, Mason? You're bound to be caught sooner or later.
That's right, Mason. You haven't a chance. If you were smart, you'd give yourself up to the Solar Guard. Maybe they'd be easy on you.
You're space-happy, Manning. I've got everything under control. As soon as my men strip this asteroid of its ore, we're blasting off in this freighter for outer space.
What about us?
You needn't worry, Manning. You and Dr. Dale won't have to make the trip.
You're darn right we won't.
Tommy! Come in here! Quick!
I've just been waiting for a chance like this, Mason.
Roger, look out! Behind you!
Grab him, Tommy!
Let go of my arms, you slimy space nut!
That's it, Tommy! Pin him down!
Dirty space crawlers, I'll take on both of you!
Not now, you won't, Manning.
Let go of me!
And since you won't behave, we'll teach you how. Take them below, Tully, and put them in irons.
There it is, Captain Strong. I've got Asteroid 2046 on the radar.
All right, Tom. Hold this course. It will keep us outside their radar scanners.
But what are we going to do now, sir? How are we going to help Dr. Dale and Roger if we can't get any closer to the asteroid than this?
We've got to figure out a way to evade Mason's radar first, Astro.
That's going to be tough, sir. Even if we circle the asteroid and come up on the other side of his mining camp, his sonar equipment will pick up our rocket blast.
Hey, wait a minute. I've got an idea. Suppose we let them pick us up on their radar.
Are you crazy, Astro?
Maybe, but the way I figure it, Tom, if we alert them that way, they'll keep the radar on the Polaris to watch every move we make, right?
We can be sure of that, Astro.
Fine. Then the Polaris will act as a decoy. And while you keep the ship on a course just inside Mason's radar screen, sir, Tom and I could take the jet boat, land on the other side of the asteroid, and take them by surprise.
Sounds pretty risky, Astro. Even if you were able to find Joan and Roger, you could never get off the asteroid with them in a jet boat. Mason could shoot you down before you got back to the Polaris.
I think I've got the answer to that, sir. Give Astro and me a certain time limit to find Dr. Dale and Roger and get them away from the freighter. Then you close in and fire a space torpedo at Mason's ship.
Suppose you didn't find Joan and Roger in the allotted time.
We could signal you after we found it.
An infrared signal flare would do it, sir.
When you see the signal, wait exactly 10 minutes, and then fire the torpedo.
Hey, wait a minute. There's one thing I forgot.
What's that, Astro?
Even though they've got the radar on the Polaris, their sonar will pick up the sound of the jets in the boat.
There's a way out of that, I think, Astro. Judging by the size of Asteroid 2046, the gravitational pull ought to be pretty slight.
We can find out easily enough. Wait a minute. I'll check the master chart.
Shouldn't be much different from the other one. They're about the same size.
You're right, Astro. It's .005. Why, we could land the jet boat without using any braking power at all.
We'd just float down to the surface. Our fall would be as easy as a parachute landing back on Earth.
Well, seems to add up to a workable plan.
It's the only chance we've got, sir.
All right. Jump into your space gear, boys, and grab a couple of parallel rays. You'll shove off in 5 minutes.
going to touch down, and we just might hit a little harder than we figured.
We'll know in a second, Tom. Here goes.
Not bad. Hardly jarred us. Okay, put your space helmet on and let's get moving.
Right.
All set. Open the hatch.
Come on. We've got a small-sized hike ahead of us.
It won't take us long. With this gravity, you can jump 10 or 15 feet at a time.
I imagine they'll be using their space freighter for headquarters. I doubt if they take the time to put up a regular camp.
Okay, then, let's head for her. You can see her nose just over the horizon.
So far, so good, Astro. We haven't been spotted yet.
And there's the ship. The crew is unloading something from the aft hatch.
Mining equipment. Our hunch was right. They're going to take as much of this ore with them as they can.
Where do you think we'll find Dr. Dale and Roger?
On the ship somewhere. Doesn't that type of freighter have a hatch on the other side of the hull?
Most of them do. It's an escape hatch in case of a runaway reactor pile. It should lead right to the power deck.
Good. We'll give it a try. Come on. Careful, Astro. We may run into somebody in this companionway.
I'll be ready for him. Hey, wait. Let's check this compartment.
Okay. Open the bulkhead door, but take it easy.
There you are. Kind of dark.
I'll go in first. You cover me from here until I find out what's in there.
Go ahead.
Why don't you space brothers leave us alone?
Roger.
Huh? Who's there?
What's the matter? Don't you recognize me?
Tom, by all the moons of Jupiter.
How did you get here?
No time to explain now, Dr. Dale. We've got to blast out of here.
We can't, Junior. They've got us in irons.
Oh? Well, we can carve you out of those. Hey, Astro.
Yeah, Tom? Any luck?
Yeah, I found them. Get outside and fire that flare.
Okay. I'll wait for you at the airlock. And tell Manning if he doesn't behave, we'll leave him behind.
Go on, you Venusian ape. I think I'll stay here.
Boys, this is no time for kidding. Corbett, can you get us out of these irons?
There's an electronic switch controlling them, Tom, but I don't know where it is.
Well, we won't bother with the switch. I'll just short-circuit the connection. And listen, as soon as you're free, find a couple of spacesuits. After Astro fires that flare, we only have 10 minutes to get clear of this ship. Here's the airlock. Put your space helmets on.
Let me help you, Dr. Dale.
Thank you, Manning. I can manage.
Ready?
Yes, Corbett.
Lead the way, Junior. Hey, where's Astro? I thought he was going to meet us here.
Probably outside. Equalize pressure, will you, Roger?
Right.
Tom, why did you send Astro outside to fire a flare?
To let Captain Strong know we found you, ma'am. And have him fire a space torpedo at this ship.
A space torpedo?
Don't fuse your tubes, Roger. It's a timed operation. 10 minutes after he gets the signal, he'll fire. That'll give us time to clear the freighter.
Well, it's been at least 5 minutes since Astro left. We've got to make tracks.
4 minutes and 30 seconds exactly, Roger. Don't worry. I'm keeping track of the time. We ought to make it easy. Okay. Pressure's equalized.
I'll open the outer port.
Right.
Come on, Dr. Dale.
You see Astro?
Yeah, there he is. Hey, Astro!
Astro, is everything okay?
What's the matter with him? Why doesn't he answer us?
Hey, he looks kind of funny to me. He isn't even moving.
Quick, jumping Jupiter. He's been frozen by a parallel ray.
You're absolutely right, honey.
Huh?
Mason, drop that parallel ray, kid, or you'll be frosted.
Why, you...
No, Tom, don't.
Okay. Here you are, Mason.
Well, you're showing some sense, finally. More than that big hulk over there did.
Okay, so you got it. Now let him go.
All right. There.
Astro, you all right?
Oh, sure. But it sure felt awful to just stand here and see you walk into a trap.
How did it happen, Astro?
Mason and his crew just surprised me, that's all. Jumped me right after I fired the flare.
You weren't very smart, boys. You should have figured I'd send out patrols until I'd find your jet boat.
But, Astro, you did fire the flare.
Yeah, exactly 5 minutes ago.
Well, looks like you've got a tiger by the tail, Mason.
What are you talking about?
In 5 minutes, this ship is going to be blown into space junk. You'd better let us go.
Ha! Still playing games, eh? Get back inside right now. If this ship is blasted, you'll be blasted with it.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spaceman, everybody's having fun with the Magic Eye, the swell prize you get in every package of Kellogg's Pep. Everywhere you go, you see spacemen trading Magic Eyes, playing games with them, using them for decorations on hats, belts, and jackets. It's really fun. So, if you haven't started your Magic Eye collection yet, there's not a minute to lose. You know, Magic Eyes are those swell plastic discs with the moving pictures on them. When you tilt them up and down, the picture actually changes back and forth. Trains go smoking down the track. Planes go streaking through the clouds. And your favorite stars of movies, sports, and radio entertain you. Paramount star Bob Hope swings a baseball bat. Clyde Beatty cracks a whip. Paramount star Bill Holden works the submarine periscope. Every Magic Eye is packed with action, and you can get as many as 16 different Magic Eye pictures. There's no waiting, no box tops, no mailing. Just get a package of Kellogg's Pep at your grocery store and open it up. You'll find a Magic Eye right inside, free at no extra cost. And remember, at the same time you get a Magic Eye, you'll be getting a swell-tasting cereal, too, which makes it a double bargain. So don't delay. For a Magic Eye and a swell cereal, ask Mom to get Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Their daring attempt to rescue Dr. Joan Dale and Roger Manning a failure, Tom and Astro find themselves in deadly danger as Mason orders them back into the space freighter, refusing to believe that Captain Strong has fired a space torpedo at the ship. Now, as he stands in the open airlock, Tom pleads with Mason.
You've got to believe me, Mason. In less than 3 minutes, this ship will be blasted off the asteroid.
You're wasting your breath, kid. I don't fall for schoolboy tricks. Now go on. Get into that airlock, all of you.
Only 2.5 minutes now.
Shut up, you.
Do you know what will happen when that space torpedo hits, Mason? It not only will blast the freighter apart, it'll kill everyone in 100 yards radius.
Which means you and your crew will get it too, Mason.
One more word out of you.
Why do you suppose Astro fired that flare? That's when you caught him, Mason.
I didn't see any flare.
It was an infrared flare. You couldn't see it without special goggles.
1 minute and 45 seconds, Mason. Remember, you'll get it too.
Look at your crew. They believe it. Look at them. They're backing off.
Hey, come back here. Come back, you lily-livered space fighter.
They're smarter than you are, Mason. They want to live.
1 minute and 30 seconds. It'll take us time to get away from the ship.
You're not going to trick me.
You've only got one way of finding out if this is a trick. Stay here. You'll either win or be spaced out.
1 minute and 15 seconds.
And that torpedo has your name on it, too, Mason. You'll never get away now. There isn't time.
You're all alone with us now, pal. Look at the way your crew is running.
Yeah, now they'll make all the money out of this asteroid, not you.
You rotten space crawlers, come back here. Come back!
Roger, Tom, now!
You bet.
Let go!
We're just taking this gun away now.
Get it, Tom.
Yep, I have it.
No, don't shoot! Don't leave me here!
We won't. Start running. This is your only chance. Less than 20 seconds before the torpedo hits.
Come on, boys, run! Run!
Head east, Mason. That's where the jet boat is. Who cares? Let's just get where the torpedo is and flash your tubes, all of you. It'll hit any second.
Rocket Cruiser Polaris calling Space Academy Earth. We have found Dr. Dale and Cadet Manning. All hands are safe, and we are returning to base at once. Over and out.
Corbett, that message sounded like sweet music to me.
Joan, why don't you go below and try to get some rest?
Oh, I'm fine here, Steve. Just fine.
But I still don't see how you managed to get back to the jet boat.
It was easy, Skipper. First of all, with the low gravity, we covered 20 feet in one jump. And then when that torpedo hit the freighter, Mason and his men were so busy trying to get away, they didn't pay any attention to us.
What are you going to do about Mason and the crew, sir? They're stranded on the asteroid now.
Not for long. As soon as I saw your jet boat blast off, I contacted Solar Guard headquarters on Mars. They're sending a ship out to pick them up.
Yeah, and then Mason can spend plenty of time looking for ore, cracking rocks on the prison asteroid.
the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Tuesday, when the crew of the Polaris blasts off on a vacation, only to encounter mystery and danger as they battle the Giants of Mercury. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Al Markham, Edward Bryce, and Margaret Garland. Today's program was written by Gilbert Braun, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other Raisin Bran but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
This program has come to you from New York. America is sold on ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Did you have too many Easter eggs today? Dreaming about that vacation you can't take yet? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. You are groping your way slowly through the dark hold of a ship at sea, moving carefully, step by step, searching intently for something you dread to find, because you know that this ship carries a cargo of death. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Tonight, at your request, we bring back one of our most popular escape stories. We escaped to a harbor front in Venezuela, and a grim voyage which started from there, as told by Martin Storm in his gripping tale, A Shipment of Mute Fate.
I stopped on the wharf at La Guaira, looked up the gangplank toward the liner Chankay, standing there quietly at a mooring. The day was warm under a bright tropic sun. The harbor beyond the ship lay drowsy and silent. But all at once, in the midst of those peaceful surroundings, a cold chill gripped me, and I shivered with sudden dread. Dread of the thing I was doing and was about to do. Too much had happened to turn back now. Had gone too far to stop. I set the box down on the edge of the wharf, placed it carefully so as to be in plain sight, and within gunshot of the captain's bridge. I knew what I was going to do, but I couldn't forget that a certain pair of beady eyes were watching every move I made. Eyes that never blinked and never closed, just watched and waited. I turned and started up the gangplank.
It startles me, sir. Why, it's Mr. Warner.
Hello, Mother Willis. How's the best-looking stewardess on the 7th Sea?
I'm fine, Mr. Warner. I guess I'd better run along now. Get on with my trouble.
Oh, now, wait a minute. That's a fine greeting after 2 months.
It's just that I'm so busy.
I don't believe a word of it. Sailing day's tomorrow. You're simply avoiding me, that's all.
Oh, no, really, I'm not.
And on the trip down from New York, you said I was your favorite passenger.
But I'm only...
Here. What's that you're carrying in your apron?
Oh, it's nothing. Just supplies.
Supplies? Let's have a look.
No, please.
It's a cat.
It's Clara, Mr. Warner. Mr. Bowman said I had to leave her ashore, and I just couldn't.
Who's Mr. Bowman?
The new second mate. Clara's been aboard with me for 2 years, and I just can't leave her here in a foreign country. Especially with her condition so delicate and all.
Yes, I see. Well, I hope you get away with it.
Yes. You won't tell anyone.
Not a soul. As a matter of fact, if things don't work out right, we may both end up smuggling.
Well, happy to have you aboard on the trip down 2 months ago, Christopher, and I'm very glad you're coming along with us on the run back to New York.
Thanks, Captain Wood. There is one thing, though. I'm having a little trouble with the customs men here, and I
I can't do it, Christopher. I just cabled your father this morning. Told him I'd have done it for you if I possibly could. He sent a request from New York, you know.
Yeah, I thought he would. I wired him from upriver last week.
I hated to refuse, but it's absolutely out of the question.
Captain Wood, I'm afraid I don't follow you.
Responsibility to the passengers, son. We'll have women and children aboard. On a liner, the safety of the passengers comes ahead of anything else.
But with proper precautions...
Something might happen.
What?
I don't know what, but something might.
Carried worse things.
There isn't anything worse. Any skipper afloat will bear me out. No, Christopher, I simply can't take the chance. That's final.
Final. Wasn't final if I could do anything about it. I hadn't come down here to spend 2 months in that stinking backcountry and then be stopped on the edge of the wharf. 2 months of it. Heat, rain, insects, malaria. I'd gone clear in past the headwaters of the Orinoco. Traveled through country where every step along the jungle trail might be the last. Sanchez!
Si, Senor Wanda.
Better start looking for a place to camp. Be dark in a little while.
Si, Senor. Very soon we'll turn to red. Camp on rough water. This is very bad country.
This very bad country. We've been saying that for 10 days now. Very bad country.
Si, Senor Wanda. This very bad country.
Yes, skip it. For all the luck we've had so far, it might as well be Central Park.
Central Park? I don't understand.
Never mind. Yeah, what's the matter? Quiet now. Sanchez, what's wrong?
They're in the past. See. Bushmaster.
Bushmaster. The deadliest snake in the world. Bushmaster. Latin name was Lachesis muta. Mute face. It lay there in the center of the path, a 10-foot length of silent death, coiled loosely in an undulant loop, ready to strike violently at the least movement. Here was the one snake that would go after any animal that walked, or any man. It lay there and watched us, not moving, not afraid, ready for anything. The splotch of its color stood out like some horrible, gaudy floor mat lying there on the brown background of the jungle, waiting for someone to step on it. Here was what I'd come 2,000 miles for. A bushmaster. The natives captured the snake, and Sanchez brought it to me in a rubber bag. He was shaking so hard I thought for a moment the thing had struck him.
One thing you make sure, Senor Warner. Not turn him loose in Venezuela. Because he know I the one who catch him. And he know where I live.
All right, Sanchez, I'll keep an eye on it.
He also know you pay me to catch him. All the time he watch and wait. You'll no forget that, Senor Warner, because he no forget. Not ever.
Well, after going through all that trouble and danger and laying out $1,500, I wasn't going to let a pig-headed ship captain stop me at the last minute. At least not as long as the cables were still in operation between La Guaira and New York. Good morning, Captain Wood. The boys at the hotel said you wanted to see me.
That's right, Christopher. Sit down.
Thanks.
Seems you weren't willing to let matters stand the way we left him yesterday.
I'm sorry to go to your head, Captain Wood, but I had to. The museum sent me a long way to get that snake. I'm not going to be stopped by red tape. This will be the only live bushmaster ever brought to the United States.
Yes, if I had my way. But... Orders are orders. Got a cable from the head office this morning. All right, Christopher, suppose we talk about precautions.
I'll handle it any way you say.
You've got to have a stronger box. That crate's too flimsy.
Well, it's stronger than it looks. A wire screen on top would hold a wildcat. But anyway, I bought a heavy sea chest this morning. We'll put the crate inside of it.
Sounds all right. Is that lock on it?
Yeah, heavy padlock. It's fixed so the lid can be propped open a crack without unlocking. Snake's got there.
In dirty weather, that lid has to stay shut. I'll take no chances.
Fair enough.
We'll keep the thing in my inside cabin where I sleep. Can't have it in the baggage room. And nobody on board is to know about it.
Whatever you say, Captain. We won't have any trouble after all. It's only an animal. It doesn't have any magical powers.
I saw a bushmaster in the zoo at Caracas once. They had it in a glass cage with double walls. Never moved. Just lay there and looked at you as long as you were inside. Enough to give a man the creeps.
Didn't know they had a bushmaster at the Caracas Zoo.
They don't now. They found the glass broken one morning and the snake gone, the night watchman dead. They never learned exactly what happened.
Well, the watchman must have broken the glass by accident some way.
The way they figured it, the glass was broken from the inside. We sailed in 4 hours.
Into the Caribbean with perfect weather and a sea as smooth as an inland lake. The barometer dropped a little on the third day, but cleared up overnight, left nothing worse than a heavy swell. And in spite of the calm seas and pleasant weather, I found myself feeling more and more often an ominous foreboding. I was developing an almost unnatural fear of that snake. Stay clear of the passengers pretty much. Got the habit of dropping into Captain Wood's quarters several times a day. Kept the heavy box underneath his berth. Approach it quietly and shine my flashlight through the open crack. Never once could I catch that 12-foot devil asleep, or even excited. He'd be lying there half-coiled, his head raised a little, staring out of those beady black eyes, waiting. It'd still be like that when I turned away to leave. Maybe that's what bothered me. That horrible and constant watchful waiting. What in the name of heaven was he waiting for?
Hello there, Mr. Warner.
Oh, how are you, Mother Willis?
My, but you and the captain spend an awful lot of time around this cabin. I'm beginning to think the two of you must have some guilty secret.
Oh, no, nothing like that, Mother Willis. I don't know about Captain Wood, but I certainly don't have any guilty secrets. Well, she's run quite a swell out there, Mr. Bowman.
It's a little heavy, all right, Mr. Warner. Just a storm passed through to the west of us yesterday when the glass dropped.
You think it missed us then, huh?
Yeah, that's what the mate figures. Sure stirred up some water, though.
This will put half the passengers in that bunk. They'll keep Mother Willis so busy. Hey, look at the size of that wave.
Huh? Great Jehoshaphat, we're going to take it on the port bow. Hang on.
That was a freak if there ever was one. Not another wave that size in sight.
Oh, you see them like that sometimes, even in a calm sea. I ain't got to get below, Mr. Warner. That water probably did some real damage in the officer's deck.
Yeah, what did you say?
The wheel companionway was open on the port side. The bridge cabins must have taken a pretty bad smashing up. They're right below the... Something wrong, Mr. Warner?
No, nothing at all, Mr. Bowman. At least I hope not. I didn't stop to find Captain Wood. Of course, I knew it was only one chance in 1,000, but the chances against that freak wave were 1 in 1,000, too. I stumbled down the companionway and along the passage to the captain's cabin.
Oh, come in, Mr. Warner.
Mother Willis.
My, is this cabin a mess? Trying to get some of these things out to dry.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to... Where's that box that was under the captain's bunk?
Oh, that? Well, I just threw it out on the deck.
What?
Oh, the desk over there slid into it. It was all smashed.
But the small box inside of it, what happened to it?
Oh, they were both splintered, Mr. Warner. Broke wide open.
No.
Oh, Mr. Warner, you're white as a sheet.
Mother Willis, go find Captain Wood. Tell him to come down here immediately.
Well, of course, Mr. Warner. I'll go tell him right away. I can finish up here later.
I pulled open the top drawer of the bureau inside. Took out the captain's flashlight and loaded pistol. Mother Willis had left the mop standing by the door. I put my foot on the head of it and snapped off the handle. Every move I made turned into slow motion. I could hear my own heartbeat. Slowly, I started to search the cabin. Sodden heaps of clothing and furnishings were scattered around on the wet black floor. I punched at them one at a time, holding the gun cocked, flashlight pointing along the stick. Nothing. I worked around the room, throwing the light into the dark corners, back of the desk, under the bunk. Wherever I turned, I could feel those cold, unblinking eyes at my back, watching, waiting. Using the stick, I pushed open the closet door and threw the light inside. Carefully, I poked at the boxes and junk on the floor. Snake was not in the closet. Inch by inch, I covered the entire cabin. And only then a horrible realization began to dawn on me. Captain Wood.
Mother Willis just told me. Well, Christopher, it's happened.
That's right, it's happened.
After you found the gun, we better start searching the cabin here.
Captain Wood, I just finished searching it.
Oh, then. Women, kids, and that thing loose on board. 1,000 places for it to hide. Heaven help us, Christopher. Anybody now, gentlemen. I didn't call you in here to pass judgment. The thing's done, and that's that.
Well, you're right there, Captain.
What we have got to do is to make up our minds how we're going to handle it.
And it'd be easier if we didn't have to tell the passengers and crew. I've seen panics aboard liners before.
Yes, I agree with you, Mr. Bowman. But I don't quite see how we can avoid it.
We've got a right to know. As long as that snake's loose, everybody on board's in the same danger, and they all ought to know about it. Captain Wood, that thing is 12 feet long. It can't simply crawl into a crack. Why don't we make a quick search of the whole ship before we spread any alarm?
Now, so do that, Christopher.
As far as I can see, the only place it couldn't be is in the boilers or on top of the galley stove.
Well, it might have crawled overboard. We can't count on that. We've got to assume it's on the ship somewhere.
Yeah, and that could be anywhere. In a coil of rope, on a deck chair,
a bucket, or in a pile of clothes.
Yes, or under some woman's berth or a baby's crib.
You've already said it. Bushmaster could be anywhere. We've got to do something. We've got to do it fast.
All right. I think the best idea is to follow Mr. Warner's suggestion and make a quick search first. You agree to that?
Right.
And if we don't find it, we'll have to warn the passengers.
We've got to find it. Alone in the dim baggage room, I went through the same movements as I had earlier in the captain's cabin. Gun in one hand, flashlight in the other, poking into every dark corner, behind every trunk and box. Since the baggage room was empty, I could keep the gun cocked and ready. And the rest of those poor devils were having to do the same thing. Barehanded. All over the ship, the search went on.
Here now, Stuart, what on earth are you doing rummaging through my cabin?
Just checking up, ma'am.
Well, I'm quite sure there's nothing in here that has to be checked.
Sorry, ma'am. Captain's orders. It'll only take a few minutes.
Well, I never heard of such thing. A passenger simply doesn't have any privacy at all. I've traveled on a lot of different lines.
Sorry, sir. I wonder if you mind moving over to the other rail. I'd like to look through these lockers.
Sure, go ahead. What's the matter? You lost something?
No, just looking things over.
Oh, there's nothing in there but life preservers.
Yeah, that's right.
You must be getting ready to sink the boat. Gonna collect the insurance, huh? Gonna send us all to the bottom, huh?
But not one of us could find that deadly shape, coiled in some dark corner or outstretched along a window seat. Not one of us caught a glimpse of that horrid head with its beady, black, watchful eyes. The thing lay waiting out there somewhere along the deck, shaded in the gathering dusk. But where? We didn't know.
nearly dark when we met together again in the chart room.
Well, gentlemen, there's no other way around it. We'll risk all the time we can. We've got to warn the passengers. How'll we do it, Captain? Call them all together in the lounge? No, if we did anything like that, we'd be asking for a panic. We'll get one, whether we ask for it or not. We pick a few men and go through the cabin decks. Get them individually, inside the cabin. Watch for any that act like they might cause trouble. We'll keep an eye on them. Handle crew the same way. Right, sir. As soon as you're finished, arm all the deck officers and start searching again. Our only chance of preventing a riot is to find that damnable snake.
The slow nightmare that followed grew worse by the hour. None of us slept. All the ship's officers not on duty kept on with that endless search. Passengers locked themselves in their cabins or huddled together in the lounges, knowing all the time that no spot on board could be called safe. Fear was a heavy fog in the lungs of all of us, and every light on the vessel burned throughout the night. Morning came, brought no relief. Terror and tension mounted by the hour.
There now, Mrs. Crane. Stop getting yourself all worked up and go back to your cabin.
Oh.
The horrid thing's probably crawled overboard
You're just
anyway.
saying that. You don't pay to say that. You don't know. Nobody knows.
Now, everything's going to be all right.
If only we can do something. If all of us could only get off the ship, they could fumigate it. Yes, that's it. We've got to get off the ship. We've got to get away.
Wait. Mr. Bowman, he's going to jump.
Hurry it out, lady. Nice work, Mr. Bowman. Get her down to her cabin. And whatever you do, don't turn her loose.
You never know when it might strike you. You can't put on a coat or move a chair without risking your life. Something's got to be done. It might be right here in this lounge.
Yeah, all right, mister. Better quiet down and take it easy.
Take it easy. You're a great officer. Why don't you do something about it? That thing might be crawling around here right under our feet somewhere.
No. They're trying to start a panic.
I got a right to talk. I don't want to die. Nobody's going to tell me what.
The second night passed. Morning came round again. A gray and rainy day that dragged past. And then night came down again. Third night of the terror. Again, every light burned. The whole ship seethed in the throes of incipient panic. Faced by a horror they'd never met on the sea before, crew and officers alike were on the verge of revolt. Passengers sat huddled in a trance-like stupor, ready to scream at the slightest unknown sound. 7 bells, I made my way forward to the chart room, found Captain Wood bent over his desk.
Oh, hello, Christopher. Come on in. Sit down.
Got to be somewhere, Captain Wood. It's got to be.
I don't know. You could search the ship for 6 months and never touch all the places aboard. If we can only hold out for 2 more days, we'll be in.
What's the Home Office say?
Use the latest wireless from them. Keep quiet and keep coming. What else can we do? How is it on the deck?
Pretty bad. Anything could happen.
Yes, that's why I took the guns away from the men. 1 pistol shot and we'd have a riot on our hands.
Whole thing's my fault, Captain Wood. That's what I can't forget.
Take it easy.
Now, if there was only some way I could pay for it myself alone.
I know how you feel. But it's no more your fault than mine, old man who asked you to bring that snake back alive. Nobody planned this. You'd better try to get a little sleep, boy.
Sleep?
Mr. Bowman made some coffee down in the steward's galley a while ago. Why don't you go on down and get yourself a cup? Then rest for a couple of hours.
Rest? I can't rest.
Christopher. Not going to help anything if you stumble through a hatch half asleep and break your neck, is it? You go on and get some coffee. One way or another, we've got to hold out for 2 more days.
Light was on the steward's galley. Coffee pot was standing on the stove. Still warm, so I didn't bother to heat it. Poured out a cup, carried it over and set it on the porcelain tabletop in the center of the room. Started to light a cigarette. The door of the pan cupboard beneath the sink was standing slightly ajar. I happened to glance toward it. I dropped the cigarette, moved slowly backward.
I'd found the Bushmaster. As I moved, the snake slid out of the cupboard in a single sinuous glide, slid back into a loose coil on the galley floor, never taking his eyes off me. I moved slowly back, waiting any moment for that deadly, slithering strike. How had he known it was me? He'd stayed quiet when Bowman was here. How had he picked the first time in 5 days that I was without a gun? My hands touched the bulkhead behind me, and I stopped. Only then I realized the terror what I'd done. The call button and the door were on the far side of the room. I backed into a dead end. I stared at the snake in fascination, expecting any moment the ripping flash of those poison fangs. The horrid coil tightened a little, and was still again. 10 million years of evolution to produce this moment. Homo sapiens versus Lachesis muta. A man against mute fate. And all the odds were on fate. I knew then that I was going to die. Feel the sweat run down between the painted walls and the palms of my hands pressing against it. My skin crawled and twitched, and the pit of my stomach was as cold as ice. No sound but the rush of blood in my ears. The snake shifted again, drawing into a tighter coil, always tighter. Why didn't the devil get it over with? Then, just for an instant, his head veered away. Something moved over by the stove. I didn't dare turn to look at it. Slowly, it moved out into my line of vision. It was a cat. That scrawny cat Clara that Mother Willis had sneaked to Fort McGuire. Its back was arched and every hair stood on it. It moved stiff-legged now, walking in a half circle around the snake. The Bushmaster moved slowly and kept watching the cat. He tightened. He was going to strike at any second. He struck and missed. The cat was barely out of reach. But now she was walking back and forth again. She was asking to die. Missed again. By a fraction of an inch. He was striking now without even going to a full coil. Missed. Again and again, always missing by the barest margin. Each time the cat danced barely out of reach, and each time she countered with one precise pat of her dainty paw, bracing her skinny frame on 3 stiff legs. And then suddenly I realized what she was doing. The Bushmaster was past. The one strike was just an instant slow, but in that split-second sharp claws raked across the evil head and ripped out both the lidless eyes. The cat had deliberately blinded the snake. He didn't bother to question her, but slid after her in a fury, striking wildly and rapidly, always missing. And every strike was a little slower than the last one, until finally... The snake's neck stretched out at the end of a strike. The cat made one leap and sank her razor-sharp teeth just back of the ugly head. Sank her until they crunched bone. Something claw she clung as the monstrous snake flailed and lashed on the floor, striving to get those hideous coils around her, trying to break her hold, to shake off the claw in certain paralyzing death that gradually crept over him and at last stilled his struggles forever. I took a deep breath. The first in minutes. The cat lay on her side on the floor, panting. Resting, and the fight just over. She had a right to rest. That mangy, brave, beautiful alley cat. It just saved my life. And maybe others as well. But as I turned toward the stove, I suddenly became very humble. And I knew all at once what a small thing a human being really is. I and others aboard were still alive only by the merest accident. There were 3 reasons why that cat had fought and killed the world's deadliest snake. And those 3 reasons came tottering out from under the stove on shaky little legs. 3 kittens with their eyes bright with wonder and their tails stiff as pokers. Up on the decks, hundreds of passengers were waiting for the news that the days and nights of terror were ended. They could wait a little longer. I pulled open the doors of the cabinet, found a can of milk. Then I dropped down on my knees on the floor of the galley.
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, and tonight brought to you A Shipment of Mute Faith by Martin Storm, adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, featuring Harry Bartell as Chris Warner, Barry Kroger as Captain Wood, and Peggy Weber as Mother Willis, with Don Diamond, Sarah Selby, and Frank Gerstle. Special effects by David Light. The musical score was conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Next week, you are hanging by your fingertips on the sheer face of an ice cliff, suspended 2,000 feet above instant death, with your strength running out, and with no chance for escape. Next week, escape with C.E. Montague's exciting story, Action. Good night, then, until the same time next week, when CBS again offers you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Loathsome present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are attempting to rescue a girl being held captive in a metals factory in the orbit of Jupiter Moon number 2. They have just entered the cargo hold of the plant and have raised the faceplates of their spacesuits.
Commander, someone's coming. I can see them through the door at the other end of the cargo hold.
That's Thor. Have your ray gun ready.
Yes, sir. Hey, Commander, I can't move. Something's holding my feet.
Someone turned on a magnetic force field, holding our metal spacesuits. Get out of your suit. Hurry.
Commander, look up above. The cargo plane is coming down on us with an Endurium beam on it.
We've got to get out of these suits. This magnetic field under us, that beam can crush us. We'll return in just a moment to today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Peril over Jupiter. Gang, if ever there was a time to act, this is it. Yes, this is the day to send for that wonderful new Space Patrol microscope kit Buzz Corey's offering. This is the day because today is the last time we can make this offer. Now, just think. You get the official microscope of the Space Patrol. A microscope that magnifies objects 15 times natural size. A microscope small enough to put in your pocket, yet so powerful it shows you the living creatures in a drop of water. Strong, all-plastic body, 2 glass lenses, has removable lens tube. You can take it right from the microscope and use it alone to examine things like the bark on trees or the fungus on damp walls. And with this super microscope, you get 4 slides. Say you want to look at a blade of grass. Put it between 2 of the slides, slip them under the microscope, look at the lens tube, and there it is, a blade of grass 15 times actual size. You see details that amaze you, thrill you, mystify you. But wait, in addition to the microscope and the 4 slides, you also get a special slide with an atomic particle on it that glows and glows and glows in the dark. So remember, gang, now's the time to act. Now, today, this very morning, is the time to send for your Space Patrol microscope kit. Because today is the last time we can make this thrilling offer. Just buy a box of Rice Chex or Wheat Chex. Then, with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and a rice check or wheat check box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Don't forget your 25 cents. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, Peril over Jupiter. After completing a mission on Neptune, Commander Corey and Cadet Happy have returned to the man-made planet Terra. Now, in his central office at Space Patrol headquarters, Commander Corey is efficiently clearing up routine business that's accumulated during his absence. He looks up as Happy turns from the communications panel, a troubled frown on his face.
What is it, Happy? I hate to disturb you, sir, but it sounds pretty urgent. It's a woman named Carla Markham. She says her life is being threatened.
Major Gray put her through to my office. It must be urgent. I'll talk to her.
Yes, sir.
This is Commander Corey. May I help you?
Commander, this is Carla Markham. My father was Richard Markham.
Markham, the metals expert?
Yes.
I remember your father quite well, Miss Markham. Now tell me, what's this about your life being threatened?
To tell the truth, Commander, it hasn't actually been threatened yet, but I expect that it will be.
Oh, by whom?
By two men named Nelson Sprague and Duke George. For 2 years, they've been getting money from me under false pretense. Quite a lot of them.
How, Miss Markham?
When my father passed away, I took charge of the metal processing space plant in the orbit of Jupiter moon number 2.
Yes, I know the one you mean.
In about a month, Sprague and George showed up with some documents indicating that my father owed them quite a large sum of money.
And the documents were forged?
Yes, but I didn't find that out until a few weeks ago. When I refused to pay them any more money, they became quite angry and abusive.
Can you prove those documents are forgeries, Miss Markham?
Unfortunately, I can't. So I didn't go to space tour immediately. Also, I'm afraid they could wreck the business it took my father 20 years to build up unless I keep paying them.
Forgery and extortion. And they've also threatened your life?
Hint that I might meet with a serious accident if I cause them any trouble.
Miss Markham, where are you now?
I'm at the Hotel Terra.
Do you have those documents from Sprague and Dort?
Yes, I do.
Can you be at my office this afternoon at 1500 hours?
Yes, Commander.
Well, bring all the evidence you have. Goodbye, Miss Markham.
Goodbye, Commander. Thank you.
Happy. Yes, sir? Check with Major Robertson. See if we have anything in the files on Nelson, Sprague, and Duke Dort.
Right, Commander.
Meanwhile, I'll contact Jupiter headquarters and have them space us any information on the matter.
Sprague.
Yes, Miss Markham. Dort and I thought we'd drop in. Hiya, Miss Markham.
I was just going out. If you'll excuse me.
We'll only stay a few minutes.
Really, I can't talk to you now.
If you're in a hurry, just give us what you owe us and we'll be on our way.
I don't owe you a cent. I never did, and neither did my father.
Now, that's where we differ. Now, we can talk privately, Miss Markham.
You have no right to force your way into this room.
And a nice room it is, too. I'll look around if you don't mind. You know, Miss Markham, we were almost ready to blast off to your Jupiter plant, thinking you were there. Then I space-phoned your chief engineer, and he told me you were here on Terra. Here on business?
No concern of yours.
I'm afraid it is. You might have caused us to make a long space flight for nothing. Hey, what's this? Does it go with the room?
Mr. George, put that down. It's Venus ceramic, and I don't want it broken.
More than a ceramic will be broken if we don't get that money, Miss Markham.
You've got all you're going to get. I know now that my father never owed you a single credit. All those contracts were forgeries.
We'll have a hard time proving it. Besides, for your own protection, it would be wise to pay us off completely now.
That sounds like a threat, Mr. Sprague.
It wouldn't take much of an accident to put that metals plant of yours out of commission.
You don't frighten me.
Hey, Sprague, look at this.
Get away from that desk.
Look what I found beside the spacer phone. A memo in Carla's handwriting.
Give me that.
Now, Miss Markham, don't you know it's rude to drag? Commander Corey, Space Patrol Headquarters, 1500 hours. Oh, an appointment with the Commander-in-Chief. What's this about?
It's none of your business.
She's got all our contacts lying there, Sprague. Lucky we dropped in. You're not going to keep that appointment, Miss Markham.
Oh, yes, I
You're going to call it off. You'll call Corey right in front of us and tell him you jumped at wrong conclusions. Then you're going to give us the money in cash. The whole 50,000 credit.
I don't have that much money. Not here on Terra.
You've got it in your Jupiter bank. We'll blast off for Jupiter right after you talk to Corey. Now get on that phone. I don't understand, Miss Markham. This morning you seemed very upset.
I know. I was very foolish. Everything's all straightened out.
And you're in no danger?
Oh, not in the least. I'm sorry it bothered you, but it's just that I've been working hard, and I imagine a lot of things just went through. So it seems silly.
How about those two men? Miss Markham, can you hear me? What about those two men?
Oh, I was all wrong about them. They've canceled the agreement. I heard from my attorney on Jupiter by spacecraft.
I see.
And as I told you this morning, Commander, I'm leaving for Jupiter this afternoon. I hope you'll forgive me for being such a bother.
Of course, Miss Markham. Thanks for calling.
Goodbye, Commander.
Did that happen?
Yes, sir. Well, that means there's no appointment at 1500. We can get much more work done.
Yeah. This morning she seemed to be sure that she was in danger. And now everything's fine.
Well, I guess some women are like that, sir.
And perhaps the Carla Market has done a pretty good job in operating her father's space plant. That calls for level-headed thinking.
Like she said, the strain and
Yes,
all.
but wait. This morning she told me she was planning on staying on Terra for 3 days. Just now she said, as I told you this morning, I'm leaving for Jupiter this afternoon.
Yeah, that's right.
That inconsistency might have been on purpose, maybe.
Why?
Perhaps she was forced to make that call just now.
By Sprague or Dorch?
Yes. I have to watch what she said so they wouldn't get suspicious, but I would.
Could be, I suppose.
The more I think of it, the less likely it is that Carla Markham would accidentally misquote herself.
Then, in effect, she's telling you, don't believe anything I'm saying right now.
Exactly. Remember that pause?
Uh-huh. And I thought I heard a click.
She was getting instructions, no doubt. Get an official surface car, Happy. We'll rush over to the Hotel Terra and check.
Yes, sir.
While you're inside the hotel, I'll stay in the car and watch.
Looks like you were right, Commander.
What did you find out, Hap?
Miss Markham is checked out. The clerk said there were 2 men with her, and they left 10 minutes ago.
Did you know where they were going?
No, sir, but I talked to the doorman. He heard one of them tell the driver of the surface cab to take them to the spaceport.
And that's where we're going.
We could spaceophone the spaceport and have the guard stop them.
There's no telling what Sprague and Dorch might do to Miss Markham if they see they're in a trap. The most we can risk right now is to try to delay a blast-off. Pretty nice little cruiser you've got here, Miss Markham. I wouldn't mind having it.
Don't worry, Sprague. You will.
George, Miss Markham doesn't think that's funny.
If you're thinking of stealing this ship, just remember that it can be easily traced.
Oh, it won't be stolen. I'll rig up a nice legal-looking transfer of ownership. George, check the rear view scope, see if we're being followed.
I've been watching it. We're safe.
Good. We'll go to her space plant and have her write us a check. We'll take care of the 2 engineers and fix all your communications equipment so you can't call for help while we're in Jupiter City. If we get the money, we'll see that you're rescued. If we don't, well, we'll find a way to wreck your plant.
Miss Markham's ship, sir. We could overtake them easily.
Yes, but if Sprague and his pals see us, we'll just put Miss Markham in danger. Let's just follow them and find out where they're going.
By the vectors they're on now, it looks like it'd be Jupiter.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps the Markham space plant in the orbit of moon number 2.
Do you think they'd take her to the plant?
Well, they might.
Oh, what did they turn out at that plant, Commander?
High-purity metals from ores hauled out from Jupiter. Chiefly zirconium and indurium. The advantage of the space plant is the low gravity and the ease of maintaining a perfect vacuum. The metals can be controlled perfectly by electronic heat fields and magnetic force. For example, a huge ball of molten indurium can be suspended inside a purification chamber without touching the sides.
Wow. And the whole process is automatic.
That's right, Happy. 2 engineers run the whole thing. I don't want Sprague and Dorch to know they're being followed. Can't let them get a glimpse of the space patrol ship in their rear view scope.
Then we'll have to keep this much distance between us until they land.
Unless we have another ship. I'm going to spaceophone Lowell City, Mars, and have headquarters send a small cargo ship out to meet us in space. We'll transfer to the cargo ship, and we can get closer to Sprague and Dorch without endangering Miss Markham. You might as well sit down and relax, Miss Markham. We'll wait here in the plant control room till Dorch gets back.
What's he going to do to my crew?
Well, it depends. If they behave themselves, they won't get hurt. Oh, here he is now.
I got them both, Sprague.
What did you do to them?
Just take it easy, miss. I merely put him to sleep with the ray gun.
Did he give you any trouble?
Nah. I got one of them while he was checking some instruments. The other was asleep in his bunk. They'll be out cold for 24 hours.
Nice work. Now, while Miss Markham is writing out a check, we can put all the spaceophone equipment out of commission. Start with
Cargo ship JC-302 calling Markham Space Plant, Jupiter 2 orbit. Cargo ship JC-302 calling Markham Space Plant.
Are you expecting a cargo ship?
The supply ship bringing food for the crew.
I thought you said it wasn't due for 2 days.
Well, sometimes it comes early.
Cargo ship JC-302 calling Markham Space Plant.
You better do something, Sprague.
Carlin, what's your chief engineer's name? Quickly.
Jensen, William Jensen.
Okay, keep it quiet, Dorch. I'll handle this. Markham Space Plant. Chief Engineer Jensen here. Go ahead, cargo ship.
We've got something for you. Is the cargo airlock clear?
It will be. Just unload the stuff. We'll take care of it later. We've got our hands full right now.
All right, Jensen, we can handle it. Cargo ship out.
Dorch, you go into the cargo hold and keep an eye on them. If they act sociable, impress them that we're very busy.
Suppose they say I'm not one of the regular crew.
Tell them you're filling in for a week. See that they get away in a hurry. Then you and I will blast off for Jupiter.
Open the cargo hatch, Happy. Yes, sir. Suppose that was really the chief engineer on the space patrol, sir? Was. Sprague and George were probably holding a gun on him. All right, close the hatch. Open your faceplate, Hap.
Now we'll plan our attack. Yes, sir. We'll move fast and take them by surprise. Probably in the main control room waiting for us to unload the cargo and leave. Somebody's come. You can see him through the door at the other end of the cargo hold. That's good. Andrew is quick looking at that. Mustache. Heavy set.
Hi. Can I give you fellas a hand?
Thanks.
Maybe you can start bringing the stuff in.
We're Space Patrolmen, Dorch.
Space Patrol.
Right. You can take us to your partner, Sprague, and Miss Markham.
Hey, what is this?
Go on, get moving. Hold your ray gun on him, Hopper.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Commander, I can't move. Something's holding my feet to the deck.
Someone turned on the magnetic force field. Holding our space boots. Get out of your space suit. Hurry.
Commander, look up above. The cargo crane is coming down on us with an Endurium beam on it.
You've got to get out of these suits. This magnetic field on Earth, that beam can crush us.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. Say, gang, how's your morning takeoff? Are you blasting off with your jets really roaring? Are you riding your bike like Buzz Corey rides his rocket? I mean with your speedometer smoking like a volcano on Venus. In other words, Space Patrollers, are you supercharged in the morning? Well, here's the way Commander Corey gets supercharged. He tucks away a power breakfast with Rice Chex or Wheat Chex, the super cereals. Try Rice Chex today. What'll you say? Delicious. Try Wheat Chex today. So swell tasting, you'll eat more and more and more and more. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex, the only cereals in the universe with that modern, bite-sized design for easy eating. The only cereals in the universe with a picture of Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside of the package. The only cereals in the universe with that mysterious magic space picture on the inside of the package. The super cereals that help us supercharge you. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, Peril Over Jupiter. Nelson Sprague and Duke George are extorting money from Carla Markham, who operate the robot-controlled metals plant in the orbit of Jupiter's number 2 moon. The two men forced Carla to take them to the plant in her own spaceship, where they overpowered the 2 engineers and are holding Carla. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy trailed Miss Markham's ship from Terra, then approached the metals plant in the small supply ship. Wearing spacesuits, they entered the cargo hold of the plant through the airlock, where they found Duke George. As the commander ordered George to take them to Carla Markham and Sprague, a powerful magnetic field was turned on beneath the deck of the cargo hold, making it impossible for the space patrolmen to walk. Then, from above, a huge loading train lowered a heavy Endurium beam down upon them. George, who is not wearing metallic shoes, is not affected by the magnetic field.
Commander, I can't get out of my spacesuit. Something's stuck.
That beam will down us in a few seconds. George, cut that magnetic field.
You'll have to talk to Sprague about that.
You asked for it, Corey. You weren't invited aboard, you know.
Is that Sprague?
Yes, it's Sprague. I'm in the cargo control booth watching you through a viewscope.
Stop that train.
Stop it. I only wish I could lower it faster.
We can't lift that people that can slide on the press magnetized train. You mean sort of statement? I pretend to try to dodge the train, you slide back to the airlock.
And leave you here? But why can't we both go?
That dodging isn't going to do you any good, Corey. Sooner or later, I can lower this beam on you. Keep out of the way, George.
Don't worry, Sprague. Hey, the other one's getting away.
Run over there and stop him, George. Don't let him get into the ship.
Yeah, okay. Hey, but watch the crane while I'm under. I'm in the airlock first.
All right, Happy. When I give the word, open it and release the air escape valve. All right, Sprague. You can let all the air out of this cargo hold in just a few seconds. The cadet and I have spacesuits on. We can close our faceplates and we'll be safe. But your partner will be in a bad way.
Don't let him do it, Sprague. Stop him.
Get away from that airlock.
Then turn off that magnetic field and stop the train.
Do what he says, Sprague. Please.
Now, all right.
Now, Sprague, come down here to the cargo hold and bring Miss Markham with you.
Supposing you come up and get me.
All right. And remember, we've got your pal Dortch here.
You remember, I've got Carla Markham.
Come on, Happy. Keep your ray gun on Dortch. Yes, sir. Go on, Dortch. This is the controller. Go on in and don't try anything. Welcome aboard, Commander.
Commander, I tried to make him stop the train.
Yes, I was forced to tie her up. Untie her. Are you hurt, Miss Markham?
No, I'm all right, but my two engineers.
What have you done to them, Sprague? I was just about to tell you,
You put them in the electronic furnace.
What? Now, Commander, there's no need to be alarmed. The temperature isn't very high in there. Yet. But if I were to turn this dial, it'd be hot enough in that furnace to melt endurium in just a few seconds. Sprague, get away from that instrument. I'll come a step nearer, Commander. And even if you shoot me with that ray gun, I still have time to spin this dial.
And he'd do it, Commander. He really would.
I don't doubt it. So that puts me in quite a strategic position, Commander. Unless, of course, you want to sacrifice those two engineers. I suppose you want a chance to get away, is that it? A little more than that. Miss Markham has some money in the Jupiter City Bank that I could use quite nicely. Torch and I are going after it. After Miss Markham writes it. Check.
I'll write it. Just don't hurt those men.
Torch, collect their weapons. Give me a gun, Happy. There's nothing we can do now. No, there's nothing you will be able to do. Torch and I are going to smash up all the spacephone equipment in this planet, including those in your spacesuits. Then we'll take your cargo ship and cut it loose in space. Here, Dortch, you guard them while I smash up the spacephones. The sooner we blast off the people... Certainly did a thorough job of wrecking the communications equipment.
Well, sir, nothing but junk. But maybe there's a small transmitter somewhere that they overlooked.
Well, let's check with Miss Markham.
Where'd you go?
She's trying to revive those two engineers.
We sure had a close call. One twist of Sprague's wrist, and they'd have been part of a batch of molten endurium.
Here's Carla now.
Any luck, Commander?
No, we really smashed the equipment. How are the engineers?
I'm afraid we just have to wait till the ray gun effect wears off.
We could revive them. Might be able to assemble a makeshift transmitter out of some of this junk. Well, maybe there's a small set we've overlooked.
I'm afraid they got every one, Commander.
We'll have to see what we can do about rebuilding one ourselves. Where are the spacephone parts, Miss Markham?
There might be some in that cabinet.
All right, Happy, let's get busy. Up there in the rear view scope, Sprague. You didn't expect anyone to be after us, did you?
I won't rest easily until Jupiter's just a pinpoint in that view scope.
Relax. We've got the money. As far as the bank's concerned, Carla Markham was just paying off a legitimate business debt.
Yeah, I know. But we're flying her ship. We better land on some nearby planet to get another.
I've got that all figured out, too. There's a friend of mine on Mars who'll meet us in space. We can abandon Carla's ship.
Yeah, but what about Carla and Corey?
We'll take care of them, Dorothy. That's where we're going now. To space.
How are you coming, Commander?
Oh, we're about ready to make a test, Carla. If the spacephone works, we'll have help here inside of an hour.
Yeah, then we can go after Sprague and Dortch.
Connect us wire, Happen. We'll be ready.
Yes, sir.
Commander, you know the spaceship out there? Where that glint is?
Yes. Seems to be coming toward us. Hurry with that connection, Happen.
It's all ready, sir. Maybe we can contact that ship.
If it's Sprague and Dortch, we won't want to. Now, let's see if the set works.
The meters check, sir.
Here goes. Attention, all Space Patrol units in Jupiter sector. Emergency message. This is Commander Corey aboard Markham Space Plant in Jupiter 2 orbit.
Commander Corey aboard Markham Space Plant in Jupiter 2 orbit. Units in this region will proceed at once to the plant. Watch for stolen private cruiser JP450, possibly between Jupiter and this location.
They got a space patrol. We got to stop them quick.
Yeah, but how?
We'll wreck the space plant.
This ship isn't armed.
We can wreck it with our rocket blast. We'll come in with our nose rocket flashing.
How do you know what part of the plant they're in?
We'll destroy the air supply units. That'll fix them wherever they are. All right, Dortch. Cut in those forward rockets.
It's Sprague and Dortch, all right. It's my ship.
Crazy fools. They're heading right toward the plant without cutting speed.
They probably heard our spacephone want to put us out of business.
If they ram us, they'll put themselves out of... Uh-oh. They've got nose rockets on.
Commander, did the Space Patrol hear your message?
I can't tell for sure. We don't have a receiver. They probably did. Hey, what's Sprague up to? He's not heading for an airlock.
Then why doesn't he cut his rear rockets? He's burning fuel at both ends.
Trying to wreck the plant. He'll do it, too.
Air unit. He's going to wreck the air supply.
Quick, Happy. Close that compartment door. We've got to seal this room off from the rest of the plant.
Yes, sir. Secure, sir. Well, they've torn up a whole hunk of the plant with their nose rockets.
They'll keep blasting away till they're sure we're finished.
And we don't have a doggone thing to fight back with.
The Space Patrol would only get here.
We're moving around for another attack. This time we probably won't be so lucky.
We ought to get out of this control room. They'll probably blast this part next.
Yeah, but we can't be sure there's any air outside this compartment.
Then we're helpless.
Now, wait a minute. When they blasted the air unit, they tore away part of the section next to the furnace.
Yes, that's where the molten endurium's cooled and rolled in place. The metal's forced from the furnace through those pipes.
Carla, is this the dial that turns the furnace on?
Yes.
Is there endurium in the furnace?
Several tons of it. Why?
Well, let's heat it up. We'll give Sprague and Dort something to... All right, George, let's make another pass. This time we'll hit the control section.
Well, let's not get too close this time. Suppose something explodes.
Sprague, this is Corey. Cut your rockets. Don't waste time with an argument because we don't have a receiver. If you try to do any more damage, we'll blast you to bits.
Listen to that, George. Who does he think he's kidding?
Hey, look, they're firing at us. Hey, what are they using?
I missed you on purpose that time, Sprague. We've got tons of molten endurium in the furnace. We can keep pouring it at you.
George, cut in the forward rockets. We'll get him quick.
Sprague, listen, that molten endurium can tear right through our ship.
Do what I tell you.
But they've hit us. They're tearing us apart.
Cut rockets.
George, you hear me? Cut rockets.
That was close, Sprague.
Oh, look at the instruments. Our power's going. They've knocked out our power.
Sprague, this is Corey. Your ship looks pretty badly damaged. Give yourself in the control cabin to prevent loss of air.
Right. We are losing air.
Seal that compartment door quick.
Just keep calm, Sprague. I've got good news for you and Dort. We've just sighted a Space Patrol squadron headed this way. Corey out.
George, did you seal that door?
I sealed it, Sprague. And before the Space Patrol gets here, there's just one thing I want to get off my chest.
Yes, what is it?
Just you and your big ideas.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. It's a quiet day at Space Patrol headquarters. Cadet Happy is alone, gazing around in the commander's office. Suddenly, he sees a piece of paper on the desk that makes his head whirl. For there, in big black letters, Hap reads,
"The Space Patrol microscope kit offer ends today." Jumping Jupiter, I wonder if the commander has seen this bulletin. Gosh, every boy and girl has to have one of these kits. Why, it's a real Space Patrol microscope, and it magnifies objects 15 times, and it's pocket size and all plastic, and you get 4 transparent slides with it, plus the mystery slide. Gosh, I got to tell the commander about this offer, so he'll be sure to tell the gang about it.
And so Hap hurries across the office, swings open the door, and whammo, crashes right into the commander.
Oh, right on my foot. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but did you know that today's the last day for the microscope offer?
Yes, I had Captain Tufeld announce it at the beginning of today's Space Patrol program.
Huh? That's all.
Out like a light. My Cadet.
Well, Hap had the right idea. It's very important to know that today is the last time we can offer the Space Patrol microscope kit. So hurry and send for it now. Just buy a box of rice checks or wheat checks. Then with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and a rice checks or wheat checks box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Commander Corey's ship has been forced to land on Planet X in the outermost regions of the solar system. Realizing that Prince Baccarati's powerful magnetic beam makes it impossible for them to control their spaceship, Buzz and Happy have stepped out into a mist-covered valley.
Well, the question now is, where do we go from here?
Head north, Happy, toward Baccarati's castle.
What's that?
I don't know. Whatever it is, I don't like the sound.
Commander, look! It's a gigantic lizard.
It's a dinosaur, Happy, and it's coming toward us. Get back to the ship. Hurry, Happy. It's gaining on us.
What a monster.
Quick, into the ship and secure the airlock.
Hey, he's trying to get in. He's clawing at the ship's hull.
Is
got to do something, Happy. He's big enough to crush this ship like an eggshell. Be sure to join us next week for the menace of Planet X, when Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Wilson again present Space Patrol! Special bulletin for boys and girls in Akron, Ohio, Albany, Schenectady, and Troy, New York. Buzz Corey's own space battle cruiser, the Ralston Rocket, will be in your area next week. Don't miss it. The Ralston Rocket. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey, and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Deborah. Other players were Virginia Hewitt, Norman Jolly, and Ken Mayer. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Wilson again present Space Patrol! Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local newspaper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.